I don't know about all of you, but I see Twitch is getting us started off with a hype train, and all I can say is Friday! Okay, I'm done. Hey! No, seriously though. Twitch. Y'all popped off today to start us off, huh? Whoa! Wait! They're still going. PK just dropped 10 freaking subs. Dude, we are back, folks.
Thank you very much.
It is a new week. It is a Friday. And oh my gosh, I've got some stories for y'all. Yeah, we've had quite the exciting week. Yo, thank you guys over on Twitch though. Seriously, look at Arctic Wolf dropping the first sub to start us off. 20 months been here. Thank you so much, my friend. AAK coming in with 5 subs. You know that's a Toes gang. We never got the whiteboard for here. I'm sorry. We're going to be back in the States very soon, though, folks, and we will have the Toes Gang whiteboard, and it will be full of toes, both non-literal and also just non-literal. There won't be any real toes up there. But thank you so much, folks. Appreciate you, PK, dropping in for the 19 months subbed up. PK's a real one, a homie. Been round the block, pumping out the content over on GII, chilling here, supporting the stream, being good discussion. Love my Europe buddies, dude. Appreciate you, man. Thank you, and thank you for dropping the 10 subs as well. Colt Kimber coming in at 19 months. Space Guy at 11 months. AAK gifting out the sub to Shakas. Dude, Shakas, you just had some jalapeno bacon cheddar pep poppers? Just makes me want to go to a pub. A gastro pub, man. Maverick, thank you for the bits, dude. Arctic Wolf also gifted out 5 subs and got us all the way to a Hype Train 5. Wait, no, I'm sorry. Hype Train 6, Maverick just dropped in his...
34 gang spasset, 34 toe spasset, 34 gang spasset, 34 toe spasset, 34 gang spasset, 34 shake 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 spasset, 34 shake.
Ooh, Obama's got the fucking bars, dude. That was beautiful. Thank you, Maverick, for dropping that sub as well. Y'all are awesome. Thank you for the wonderful, wonderful welcome back. It has been a week for us. We popped on out of town for a little bit. Mrs. Tomato's birthday was a fantastic Tuesday of fun. We hung out with our niece Dora. Got to spend some time in the pool, getting away from the heat. God, I know you guys are feeling the heat. And I don't mean from Hurston trying to get her to come back and do more illegal work for them. I mean, because it's summer for like half the world right now. Shaka, whoa! Shaka's passing on the love, dude. 10 subs? Gifting out 10 subs, man. Thank you. You guys are great. We've been in withdrawal. Withdrawal from the toes, dude. I feel it. Welcome in. Good to see you, my friends, my space friends. We have some stuff to talk about. Let me just say my hellos. AAK, of course. I saw you in here. Hughes was in here. Maverick. Juke. Mr. Juke Sky Squawker. Good to see you. Zero was just sitting in on the podcast with me. I just had a great podcast chat with 10 Pound 42. Can't wait to see how the overall community handles it. But it was an hour and 40 minutes long. And we basically talked about the state of Star Citizen and its trajectory at the moment, based on what's going on, what's been happening, what the rest of the year will look like. That'll be out for all supporters probably in the next like 6 hours, and it will be out for everyone else on Monday. I hope you guys enjoy it. Yui, good to see you in chat as always. Mrs. Tomato dropping the GII. Cyber Bob, good to see you. Time for the Garden Club. The Garden Bob. Welcome in, buddy. DK. Space Guy. Lord Skippy, my man.
Thank you very much.
Good to see you. You guys can see my whole mess down here. Just ignore that. I'll just move my chair. Can't see it. Bastin! Cookie Captain. Dude, I was wondering where you are. I didn't see you dancing. Thank you for dropping 5 subs, though. That makes up for it completely. Vastin, how have you been, man? I feel like I've been away for so much longer than it's been. 6 days? Yeah, feels like it's been like 3 weeks. I don't know what's been going on. From what I hear, I didn't really miss much, but we're going to go through it all today. I'm going to tell you about some stories from this week, and then I got a new game to check on with you guys before we drop in on the Star Citizen Live that came out yesterday, and see what's going on with audio updates coming to Star Citizen. Hi at Amsterdam. Hi at Amsterdam. Chakas, you were close to feeling the warmth of a woman. Let me tell you, I have heard that working for R-Corp will get you the whispered sweet nothings if you're looking for it. You have to fight another day. Razor 07, buddy. Aaliyah and Jotin, thank you so much for cheering the 500 bits. Aaliyah and Jotin have been here for a cool minute, supporting the channel, dropping in every once in a while to say hi, catch up on Star Citizen. I hope you're all living a beautiful life and having a wonderful weekend. Well, week? Not quite at the weekend yet. Thanks so much for dropping by, though. Or she yells at you. PK. That's what some people are looking for. Are you poor now, Shakas? Well, tell you what. You're never poor if you have good friends. I'm sorry, that's not true. Good friends can only do so much for you. Yeah, see, AAK said the same thing, but rich and friends. Seriously, appreciate you, though, dude. I hope you had a good time at the bar. Blackish, welcome in. Good to see you. Thanks for the gifted sub. Got what I wanted, so I'm out. I'm working on a new exclusive for y'all. I don't know. Let's see. What is the last? Been needing to. The last one is about the spaceships. So I guess I'm going to be releasing this one fairly soon. This is the interesting one I've been considering releasing today, but I'm going to make a new video for you guys that won't be an exclusive based around that. And at some point, we will have another exclusive. By some point, I mean next week. So if you just get gifted a sub, check it out. Lovelinator patrons can check out the podcast early too. Just go to the Discord server and you'll see the post linked on there on the supporter alerts. Litterbox. Lots of craziness things going on, pad ramming and such, using the large gun on capital ships to whack ships. They need to take the control of the capital gun away from the pilot, man. Game just feels like a... Wait, hold on. Show. Trainwreck at the moment. I am completely bummed out on playing at all. I'm starting to hear that Gar theory. Hopefully they can get things working better soon. Don't think you missed much, no. Tomat. Oh, Galadrim. Hey, man. Good to see you, dude. How have you been? How are the trades treating you? So basically like a marriage. Which one of you heathens forgot to hit the thumbs up button? Oh, I didn't hit that. I'm sorry. My bad. My bad. There we go. Oh, shout out to Twitch. Level 8 hype train. Holy crap. When do I think engineering and base building will come out? Base building is definite next year, in my opinion. Engineering, maybe EPTU. But I don't even think engineering will be in live this year either. I think if they know what's good for them, they won't drop engineering into live this year. Like, let it cook in the EPTU for a while so it's not unstable when it jumps in. Arctic Wolf, you jumped on last night and you were glad to see the ship-based missions were finally showing up. Oh, that's good. Okay. So some stuff's working a little bit better. Got halfway through Crusaders progression in like 30 minutes with those large ship recoveries. I think I saw over on YouTube, Shifty is you're done with Hurston, R-Corp, and Crusader missions and now working on Microtech. Brother, how many hours did that take? I'm like maybe a third of the way through R-Corp and that's it. I feel like I should just quit now. Speaking of which, I actually... Check this out. This is kind of funny. So for those of you who are following the current ongoing events in Star Citizen, I've got progress pictures for you. First, we got this picture from... Oh, man. Where did I even put these? We got this picture. Don't open it in Affinity. God, Windows, you're so dumb. Oh, Windows. Let's try this again. Let's open this with something more normal. There we go. So this is the picture we had at the end of last week in terms of how things were going in this event. You see, first place has 4.4 million. Second place, or fourth place, has 1.4 million. Bruh. Watch this. Here's today. First place now has 102 million. Fourth place at 42. Dude, this is heartbreaking. I'm sorry, Arcorp. They don't know what's good for them. So the event has blown the heck up. And I mean, despite all of the complaints and things that haven't been working out, there's a lot of cargo being moved. There's a lot of stuff being happened. And that's not to say that things aren't broken, but I missed a lot of progress here. I hope that they can get more stability in there, though. I think it's funny because we're all so like hungry for content that we're like blowing through all this stuff. We don't even know how long the event is. What if the event runs until September and like everybody's done with it by the end of July? What do? What do we do? Are you the only person that did not enjoy the current event as only the cargo missions work? Oh, Johnny, you are not the only person, my friend. I would like to introduce you to any discussion regarding Star Citizen over the last 3 weeks. 2 weeks, 1 week, whatever. I think they're preparing the tech preview for engineering testing in August. Just your guess. I mean, yeah. Every month we'll just guess the next month. That's as safe as we could be. Hey, Hype Train wrapped up, guys. Thank you so much. Twitch, I see you. You make this possible. Legitimate, you make it possible. Thank you so much. We're grinding ArcCorp this weekend. We can catch up. Yes, we grind ArcCorp this weekend. I think I'll probably do some gameplay tomorrow with the org. Grind some ArcCorp. There might be an event running. 250 million SCU of cargo moves so far. They better be getting some good data out of this. Like this, I really hope, I hope beyond all hopes, I cross my fingers until they break, that this is like their way of just like really understanding how they want to do cargo hauling. Oh, I hope so. You didn't have the patience for it, Captain Fish Sticks. We'll try it again if it's still running in a week or two. Oh, it'll be running. Yeah, they're not going to cut this off anytime soon. We do love the freight elevators are so easy to mess with and how they always break during cargo-focused events. Dude, they always break during everything. You don't even have to specify. They just break, period. Juke, come play with us. Are you guys on right now? I actually can't. I can't get on Discord at the moment because I can't go on Discord while I'm streaming on this computer. Because we have to use a VPN. I mean, I don't use a VPN, Turkish government, if you're watching. I am a good citizen, and I absolutely don't use Discord anymore. Of course. Yes. You ignore the event, not really interested in it. Problem is just all the normal events are broken too. Yeah, that is a huge problem. You can't just run an event with all this stuff and then the other events are all done for, or the other missions and contracts are all done for because of that. Very extensive QA for cargo elevators, I hope so. You only notice it during cargo events. I feel it. Well, maybe if they'd used elevators or hangars instead of elevators, that would have worked a little bit better. All right, y'all. I've got a fun story for you. So, yesterday was my brother-in-law's wedding, and for that fun and extravagant event, I was the best man. Now, many of you probably think, "Oh, best man, yeah, cool." You go to the thing, you make sure that the groom is getting his drink, his food, he's having a good time, he's staying healthy and safe. Maybe you give a toast here. Maybe you make things a little rough for him, but you make sure he's all good. But being best man in Turkey, no, that's different. That's a journey. Yeah. It's so very traditional style wedding. And generally the tradition in Turkey is for there to be like a congregation, a convoy for both the families. Or rather for the groom's family. So like we get together and we do a whole celebration of the groom, dancing, partying. There was like a I think Mrs. Tomato actually has more videos than I do. There was like a full-on, I don't know if it was a clarinet, it's like a windpipe instrument. A guy had drums, and another dude was like doing a little dancing, a little hip moving with some bells on his hands, like having some fun. And so we did that, or they did that in the general area of us for a little while. And that was like a whole sort of just creating a commotion and chaos and celebrating the groom. Then we all got into our cars and we drove like 30 cars strong out to the bride's house. And in the bride's house, let me just show you by video. Hold on, do I even have this video? It's not loading. Here we go. So this is, you can't hear me. But, wait, is this the video? No, this is the other place. So this was where we were all getting together and getting ready to go. Celebrate the man. I'm filming myself this whole time. That's useless. Hold on. There we go. This is the one that really matters. So this is the group. Here's the groom and here's the bride. We are in the middle outside, like in the street outside of her house. And I kid you not, there's like 200 people around us. These dudes are dancing on the street. See the guy with the drums. Just a big old party. And then I turn around here, you can see just how many people are like surrounding us. And the whole thing is just this massive street celebration of the two folks getting married. And I had to go and join the groom and sit on the ground in the middle of all of these people and eat a specific dish. Mrs. Tomato is going to be able to tell me exactly what it was. Because it's like the fat of yogurt with honey. And basically we eat it with this fried dough. But it's like just a few of us. And then there are just like 100 people standing around us in a circle watching us. And I'm like, all right, I'm eating the stuff. And the whole time, this is like we were in a village that was real far outside of the city. So just like very rural Turkey. Most of the people there probably had not seen a black guy before. So it was like a lot of staring. And a lot of just like very curious looks and glances. And me and Mrs. Tomato, I mean, I'm not going to lie, we were looking fabulous. So that added on to it. But it was such a freaking amazing experience to get to see how that plays out. Especially because like before, back in the day, obviously, when you didn't have cars, it would have been a much longer proceeding and a whole big thing. But now we had cars, so we just mobbed into their village with like as many people as lived there coming to celebrate. After that, we got into the actual wedding, and it was an interesting time. Again, there's how to put this, not many Americans out here. On top of that, not many black people. So there were a whole bunch of like just awkward moments of people looking. There was like one point where this kid was literally standing right next to us, just kind of staring. Just staring. We both looked back at him, but he wouldn't do anything. And he's just soaking it in, you know, just getting it in. It was a funny time. But yeah, being the groom in, or being a best man during something like that. I didn't have to give a toast, luckily, because I would have failed at that, considering I can't give a toast in Turkish, and nobody there really would have known what I was saying. But if you follow Mrs. Tomato on, or if you are on the garden, you've probably seen more videos that she posted. If you follow her on any social media, you probably see the videos that she posted, which is much more than what I had. But that was quite the different experience for me. That was the most people I'd ever been around, outside of like going to a speech or a protest or something like that. That was good times. So shout out Mrs. Tomato. Thanks for being my Turkish connection. Benim Turk. Was it a video you saw from Tomato that showed on Reddit posts that listed many missions missing? Not this Tomato. Tell you what though, Mrs. Tomato, she was the I don't even know what to call her role, but she handled things. I mean, you guys have seen how she handles things in the garden. Took care of business. It was actually a conservative wedding too. So there was there was like no alcohol served there, but we had our own alcohol over in the bride's room with all the people and like the young folks. And like several of the adults made the long trek from the wedding over to the bride's room just to have some alcohol. Freaking soaked it up and then popped on out. I was like, I just had alcohol at the wedding. But yeah, it was good times. It's wedding season, so we're constantly getting dressed up and going places and celebrating stuff. But honestly, it was just a solid time. And then before that, we were, like I said, we were out of town for the birthday with Mrs. Tomato and our niece, who is now away from us. So we have no reason to be here. Because our niece is the big thing, and then we came here for the wedding, and both those things are done. So we'll see you guys back in the States in less than a month or so, about a month. We will be back, and the schedule will change slightly. We'll be going back to the normal times, and don't worry about it shifting again for a long time. We will be sticking to that normal time. We will have more things going on, and just in general, the content should be flowing more smoothly because, you know, things aren't as unstable. Baby starstruck. They're like, oh my God, Space Tomato, Mrs. Tomato, wow. We watch so much of the podcast. Yeah, launch sequence, my favorite. Was that an R-Corp suit I was wearing? It looked kind of like it, huh? That was like the same, like a similar color. Yeah, that looks like R-Corp, right? R-Corp red. Little Microtech blue. No alcohol at the wedding, you're staying home. Congrats from your bed. Is GII doing the event this weekend? I would check on Discord. I can't turn on Discord right now, but I would assume there's something going on in GII this weekend. I know Friday Night Shenanigans is always going to be a thing. Don't know what Vastin has planned for that this week, though. Turk from Scrubs. Turk and Turkey. Not gonna lie, launch sequence is pretty dang good, though. If you're obsessed with space games that start with Star and end with Citizen, launch sequence is pretty fun. You'll be the time in Turkey is an amazing... Bet the time in Turkey is an amazing life experience, good and bad. Glad you've been able to have it. Definitely an experience to have. I mean, I just ate rice stuffed grape leaves earlier today and was loving it. And I can tell you what, that would not ever have been a thing if I hadn't come here. Saturday's full of events as well. Awesome. Fantastic. I haven't gotten to check out the calendar. Rig Valis and you are all running something related to the resource drive. How's that been working for you, PK? I know it's been a little bit meh. Are things getting any better over the last week? Been running race for Stanton events twice a day. Really? Oh man. I was checked out this week. I didn't know it was twice a day. Hey, Pickles. How you doing, dude? Hope the stream's going great today. Oh, we're just getting into it. We'll see how it goes. Thanks for dropping by, my man. Can we get a shout out for the Twisted Pickles? Which, by the way, is the Twisted Pickle, in terms of a texture, is it like a churro kind of? Like a spiraling pickle? Is that how that works? Oh, Hustle Bones. Been a while, huh? Where have you been? Three events all day, resource drive tomorrow. Hell yeah. It's all right if you don't make it strict event, but more of a hangout. That's fair. Just a group playing the game while just talking in chat. Feels like a good way to handle it, to be honest. Well, besides the event running, I haven't even checked out this week in Star Citizen. I really struggle in keeping up if I don't go to my actual computer. But it looks like, let's see. Additional fixed candidates are currently undergoing validation, including updates aimed at various freight elevator issues, such as cases where entities interfere with their functionality. We're aiming to roll these out soon, along with further improvements. To support these efforts, we scheduled a maintenance window for Tuesday, July 22nd, beginning at 1 UTC. Our servers will be offline for approximately 4 hours. During this time, all gameplay systems will be unavailable, and you won't be able to access the game until maintenance is complete. So, chat, how did this go? How was the maintenance? How many patches, how many hotfixes have they dropped this week? I know this is my job. But I'm coming to you guys for the info this time. The dude in the bottom right is huge. Oh, me? Down here in the bottom right? Thank you, man. Yeah. Oh, you know. All that baklava. Massive, massive tomato now, yeah. No, but that dude in the picture he is huge. He's not your average Star Citizen sized biceps there. Tampa Bar Citizen, nice. You were supposed to go to the Bar Citizen in Tampa? Ah. That sucks, man. Forensic. It's starting to go bad again. Lasted about 3 hours of peace. Oh no. It was okay at first, but degraded fast. Nice. I wonder if it's their entity graph. I feel like their entity database is really where a lot of their issues come in nowadays. All right, what else is coming up this week? Thursday, well, what else happened this week? I guess Thursday, new episode of Star Citizen Live, because the audio team's in the studio. From thruster roars to ambient noise, they're behind every pew rumble and whoosh you hear in Star Citizen. This is what we are about to watch together here on the stream, folks. I'm gonna talk a little bit about another game that I wanted to touch on recently. But then we're going to sit back and we're going to go through this live Inside Star Citizen Q&A with the audio team. If you don't know me, I love audio. Music is like my favorite thing to do when it comes to making videos. And I think audio can really enhance the situation. So I'm hoping they have good news there. Your kingdom for a working elevator, am I right? Fellow citizens. Citizens. Jesus. That's a slip, huh? Mike, you were also supposed to go to the Tampa Bar Citizen. What happened? Hustle Bones, you've been outside. Nice, dude. I hear that's kind of fun. How was it? Were there any griefers? What other games do I play? I don't really play too much. Recently, I've been playing The Altars, which is a pretty cool sort of sci-fi kind of puzzle adventure game, base building game. I want to do a video on that soon. Not sure when I'm going to be able to, but it's a truly it's such an interesting game, such a good concept, and I think it's flying a little bit under the radar, especially considering it's on Game Pass. So hopefully, can introduce that to more people. What else have I been playing? Dune Awakening, I've tried a little bit. I've only played that twice so far. Had to put it down for a little bit here just to get back caught up with Star Citizen stuff. But I do think I'm going to keep going with Dune. I'm going to put out a couple gameplay videos and we'll do another stream on that. I've been playing Overcooked 2 because my niece was really into that, and me and Mrs. Tomato also really enjoy the duo cooking, as you guys know. So that's been a good time. And I think that's just about it, to be honest. I don't play too many games right now. It was the entity database on the last cargo event, blocked the elevators and smashed the performance too. Huh. Forgot about that. Did I know you can get an Atlas from Wicklow? He wants 50 Quantanium, which is 1 million UEC, when it only costs 50k in the shops. Also, you get an Anna Endro armor. You have to give him Anna Endro armor. Does he just tweak it a little bit? Just put a different skin on it? $50 quant. I mean, hey, man, maybe if you got 50 Quantanium just chilling in your closet, nothing to do with it, why sell it when you could just turn it in for an Atlas? All right, continuing on Friday, fresh copy of the weekly RSI newsletter will land straight in your inbox, delivering your next dose of Verse news, sneak peeks, and community highlights. And on Saturday, Atmo Esports Gravity Rush accelerates it into round 3. Atmo Esports, man. Bless them. I hope things are going well for the races. If you guys like racing, I would check that out. Are you doing a bingo card this year with the community for this year's Digital Citizen Con? Dude, just like last year. We will be hosting the bingo card and probably a giveaway to go with it. Speaking of which, I think we still have an ongoing Esperia Prowler giveaway if you guys haven't gotten involved in that. So, Star Citizen continues to have a little bit of struggles surrounding this event, huh? I am curious, though, chat. If the event worked perfectly, is it something that you enjoy? Or is this pretty much a bad idea for an event, in your opinion? How is Alters? Just bought Frostpunk 1 and 2. Alters is great. I haven't played Frostpunk, but I know it deals with the same kind of psychological questions. I love the Alters. It's good times. Maverick, wish you could make it to the Garden meetup for CitizenCon. It's so far, man. Would love to have you call in, though. I'm hoping that we can, like, host a Discord instance wherever we are so that people can still kind of be involved if they're calling in remotely. You like it for what it's worth? It meant the Jeeper you enjoy it. Event is fine. It'd just be nice if things functioned more than 70% of the time. Yeah, seriously. You enjoyed it, issues aside. Would be fine for just doing just one org. Multiple orgs is too much. I mean, that's your choice, though, right? The whole point is you're supposed to pick one org to rally behind. I picked ArcCorp. I think, shout out to the people who want to try and do all of it all very quickly, but I think we have a lot of time to get through all of the other groups as well. Old Nine Beer, what's up? How you doing? You don't like being a box cargo person. It is quite boring to move so many boxes. You prefer mining and pew pew FPS for the event. I do enjoy some FPS. Have you tried doing it via combat, ship combat? Would have been great to use the distribution centers. I think one of the biggest confidence boosters that CIG could have given us this year is if they came back at us and they introduced not new distribution centers, but maybe some equivalent distribution center over at Crusader and ArcCorp a couple months ago. And then they drop us into this event where we're like, oh, okay, well, that makes sense that you refurbished all these locations and added some new factions and things to do. But instead, they didn't touch distribution centers and instead put this on the outposts, which are not really made for large-scale cargo hauling contracts. So it is a weird choice. But I think it shows most just how fast-paced they are right now and how few resources they have. If they were fully integrated into Star Citizen in their development, these would have been used. I have no doubt. These would have been updated and centralized as the place to go, while the other parts of these locations were still functioning. Because that was the whole point of these locations. They were like, yeah, you're going to be running missions and contracts at the same time as other people. You want to see more events like this for sure. Global community events and outcomes are always engaging. The best part's probably the fact that it tracks our progress as a group much more consistently, graphically pleasing in a better way. That goes a long way for any event. And that's one of the things people love most about Helldivers. The best Star Citizen tuber. Thank you, Beer. Appreciate you, dude. Star Citizen is fun to talk about and sometimes even play. Kidding. Mostly. Metaphysical, you are a miner and enjoy these events for that reason. Oh, because you can mine while doing it, yeah. For anybody who's just listening and not reading, he means a miner like pickaxe miner, not a kid. You don't think this should have been an event? This should just be content in the game, except for the tier 5 armor for post-event? Honestly, I think that this is a test to make it regular content in the game, but you probably can't do it until Star Sim works better. Ship combat missions have been disabled, but have been reactivated twice now. But they cause client crashes. That's why I had a problem. Yeah, I had a client crash when I was getting my RSI Meteor footage. Shame the underground part of the facilities isn't in yet, but I guess it's priorities. Well, if we go to the recent roadmap roundup, or we don't even need to go to the roadmap roundup. We can just go to the roadmap itself. Up in here, we got underground facilities starting to be experimented with. Now, knowing CIG, this doesn't necessarily mean that they're going to start making underground facilities like I have been hopefully making content regarding. And maybe I should be a little bit more careful with the way I have been presenting them. But clearly they've had a lot of work and content that went into underground facilities in some way back in the day. And given the way that they have restructured since this video came out, obviously some of it has been canned or repurposed or just delayed. But I do think it is a good sign that we're seeing underground. Look at how freaking deep these go, man. You could totally instance this. You could easily just make this an elevator that pops down into an instance, and then you have the whole underground facility available to you and like your people. And these could be phenomenal for gameplay if they could just figure out how to get them running and get the developers actually working on Star Citizen to make them. But underground facilities are a thing in 4.3. Located on every moon of the Stanton system, these enormous multi-level structures are used for the new cooperative zones coming in 4.3. The Onyx Facilities are the top secret research facilities where Dr. Jort performed his most egregious and unethical tests to address the regen crisis. These abandoned facilities are divided into 3 wings, each with their own series of challenges, dangers, and discoveries to be made. So it might not be exactly what we're seeing here, but these are clearly multi-level facilities that they were working on. And I do think if we see any sort of sign that this stuff has been repurposed for the underground facilities we see in 4.3, then there's a good chance that we see distribution centers get their underground facilities as well at some point. If they can put out monthly patches with limited resources because of Squadron 42, then post Squadron 42, there should be no excuses for delays of features. Yeah, I like to agree with you there. This event has shown you the best parts and worst parts of the game, the Doomsayers and the Hopefuls, the helpful players and the Grievers. Casual Star Citizen experience. The The best thing about this event is it brought out the community. You see folks helping each other load at POIs. They just sit there all day loading. It is nice to see community engagement that doesn't have to do with shooting each other. I think the community itself needs more of that. They need to see more of that. Not every single person that surrounds everybody wants to kill you. Sometimes when you're in a game where everybody has a gun in their hands, you think everybody is going to shoot you as soon as they see you, and it's nice to get opportunities where that doesn't happen. CIG have gone a bit radio silent over the past few days about hot fixes. Okay, so they haven't dropped anything this last half of the week. And tunnels. I get the Halo 2. No. Halo 2? Yeah. Halo 2? No. No, I'm pretty sure it's Halo 3. Savo Highway map. Maverick, you gotta know this one. The yeah, it's gotta be Halo 3. Because that was the one where they released the trailer where Cortana was being all weird, and then Master Chief walks through Cortana and puts his assault rifle on his shoulder, and he's like, I'm stoic. Sorry, I'm obsessed with Halo. It reminds me of that a little bit, with a bit of mixture of Half-Life in there too. Yes, hangars are instanced. You've heard people talk about these cooperative zones for 4.3. What are they? That's really what I just read is the only info we have. Just that they're going to be filled with puzzles, challenges, dangers, and discoveries to be made. It sounds like there will be dangerous fauna and like puzzles you have to get through. A lot of the puzzles that they've shown us in Star Citizen's history have been based around the multi-tool or the tractor beam. So I'm betting that's going to be something that gets put to use if they have the resources to actually do that. See a lot of that in these Squadron 42 videos. I say that, and then I can never find the scenes where they show it. Yeah, so like, here's one where you kind of gotta put a resource can into a certain receptor and it accepts it. I highly doubt this is going to be in there, but it's just, I'm just trying to show here that when CIG comes up with puzzles, they definitely went the Half-Life route, and they like to focus a lot on tractor beams. He even mentions it in this next scene here. Listen to this.
Is an essential piece of equipment for every pilot that integrates all attachments into a single handheld device and allows us to create really interesting challenges, including physics-based puzzles using our updated rope tech.
Updated rope tech. I remember when that was a thing, and I was very excited about it. Now I'm not, except for when it comes in the game at some point. So I do think that, like, some kind of puzzles might be apparent here. We'll probably need to get, like, a key card or something at some point. And, need to, like, open specific doors, but we don't really know any other details about this. Maybe we'll get some more from this month's monthly report, or maybe even from next week's roadmap roundup. Lurch Lord, greetings. You seen more people sit and complain about the Armistice Zones being there lately? I am more people. I don't like the Armistice Zones. Granted, I don't think they should just drop Armistice Zones. I think they need things to account for the loss of them. Security, better reputation, in-game deterrences. But I do think Armistice Zones are... You can tell that they kind of hurt the game's design, having to still be there. Once they get this, they'll be able to do more like the city lowers and all that too. Yeah, I think that's one of the most important parts of this, probably. Is like, this might be their testing of the municipal works under ArcCorp, like you're saying. And maybe they'll instance these. Maybe. Anti-personnel turrets listed for 4.3, so I imagine there'll be an obstacle. Yes, that is absolutely right, Jock. Oh, here we go. There's a little bit more here. They say not an event, not a sandbox, like contested zones, but the opposite, where investigation, puzzle solving, and cooperation with players around you will make completing objectives easier. And by cooperation of players, they mean shooting. No, I'm kidding. Like contested zones, though, does actually kind of mean that they might not be instanced. I don't know why I didn't put that together before I started talking about that. But yeah, if they're like contested zones, then they probably won't have instances. They'll just have gateways to get in. What we will need to see is how that gets affected by combat. Because this sounds like they want it to be all about puzzle solving and investigation, which is good fun. But if you can beat these cooperative zones by just being combative with the people around you, you sort of lose the point. Am I planning on playing Squadron 42? Hell yeah. I'm actually working on a video about Squadron 42 because I really like the sound of what it'll be. Just, you know, takes forever. Can't imagine the Chaos Bombers would have wrecked early in this event without Armistice. Easy solution, man. Every outpost should have a turret that shoots bombs out of the air. Why would you not? Didn't agree with you at first about Armistice because I couldn't see the argument, but this event shifted my opinion. We're not ready for Armistice to be removed, but it does need to be removed at some point. I mean, even CIG themselves say that. Hope there's a story being told in these new zones. Sounds like it. They are ASD locations. They're probably ASD locations now, but they'll be added to just have other corporations and things that are themed for them later. If not instance, how are they going to stop people attacking each other? They're on the moons of Stanton, so there is the crime stat involved, but that's not really enough of a deterrent anymore. So I don't know. We'll have to see what they say about it. Strong anti-air and anti-personnel turrets, NPC security response, player rep gating access to some locations. Yeah. Rep gating access to locations would be a good one, but people would be unhappy about that. Functioning NPC guards, functioning reputation, functioning consequences, and then can you think about removing Armistice? I digress, Lurch Lord. I agree with you mostly, but I think they should be thinking about removing Armistice as soon as possible. Not in the sense that they should be trying to remove them soon, but they should be considering it. Like, this whole game should be being built around the idea that Armistice Zones won't be there. So every single thing that they do to build out these locations, I think they should do it with the sense that Armistice Zones will at some point be gone. And they haven't been doing that. They haven't introduced any security at outposts. They haven't done anything for an ownership system or a way to validate people to take ownership of your stuff. It's just like, they need to consider that stuff more, in my opinion. But I think all those things do need to be in the game. No security response at this point it's getting a little long in the tooth, a little stuffy in the nose. When has a crime stat ever been a concern, really? It used to be when prison sucked. you had to stay there for like 10 hours. But that was a smaller player base. And a lot of the player base wasn't as concerned with being holes. A little planning and thinking would do CIG good. Security needs to be a big priority after engineering. Well, engineering, one of the things that they used to talk about with engineering was how we could assign... Where are we? No, this is the... Wait a second. Is this what I think it is?
But we are doing our very best that you will try.
I was just talking about this on the podcast today.
we are really excited to work on it right now. So it is in active development, and I don't want to do any promises when you will see it.
See, that's where all these talks should end. No promises. Don't worry. We'll tell you when you'll see it.
But we are doing our very best that you will be able to try it out sooner than later.
No dates. But it's really cool.
So, we did get engineering in the Arena Commander after this, but like that was more than 2 years ago. So we're still waiting on that. But back when they were talking about engineering more in kind of a conceptual, one of the things they mentioned that was a big part of engineering was the ability to assign roles.
Resource management can be broken down into several key elements. Power, energy, resources, life support.
We know that.
Item maintenance.
We know
relay
that.
handling.
We've got
access
that.
control.
That's the big one. Access control. Like, how amazingly nice would that be? To be able to say, these people can access my boxes. If these people don't, give them a countdown. And if they don't drop the box by the time the countdown, they get a little crime stat tick or something. I think that would be a really nice addition to the game right now.
And gravity. So let's start.
Oh yeah, and then there's gravity, that little thing. Just copy paste way too many anti-personnel turrets literally everywhere. Just imagine though. Imagine with Star Citizen the kinds of glitches we'd get from. Like, I don't think if they add turrets and security around this stuff, it's going to go well, per se, at first. I think it'll be a challenge, but it'd be nice to see them being added. Tony Z used to talk about turrets that would instantly yeet you the moment you draw your weapon. Oh my god. I'd be in so much trouble. You've raised some good points, though their main focus will likely remain on profitability before addressing other matters. I think their main goal is keeping people playing. Profitability will come with that. If they keep dropping in content that's good and playable, people will keep spending money. But if the content becomes less and less playable, I do think that their money earnings will fall. You know, profitability, good game, they go hand in hand. Yeah, Chad McKinney leaving was a loss. Honestly, several devs like that leaving is a loss. If they don't drop the box, then the box explodes. The Mission Impossible mission briefing just blows up in your hands. This cargo box will explode in 5 minutes. Okay. There we go. Now we're going to get into the Star Citizen Live shortly here. But first, there's another game I want to talk to you guys about. It's one we've touched on earlier on this year, but they've had some recent progress in their roadmap, so I thought we could check back in. This is Verse Project. Yet another game that at some point somebody told me was going to be the end of Star Citizen, and who knows? Who knows? Who knows? It's a different kind of game. This is a space sim, multiplayer, but it is based around just our solar system. So it's smaller in terms of scope, but it aims for quite a bit of detail, and it seems like they're going for a little bit more of a sim vibe. Now, I haven't played this yet. I do want to jump in game here shortly to try it out with you guys, maybe next week. I've got it downloaded here for the like current available offering, but I haven't actually gotten to check it out. They call this a single shard spaceflight experience, community-driven game universe with economics, faction warfare, and global events, an immersive exploration in a highly detailed physical space, fully generated 1-to-1 scale solar system based on real scientific data. So you got a whole bunch of opportunities that they're telling you here are going to be the focus for your career. And it's fairly similar to what Star Citizen offers. Mining, QPUs, corporations, factions, that kind of stuff, exploration gameplay, and trading. Graphics are okay. It gives me kind of Space Engineers vibes, but does anybody remember what Star Citizen looked like when they first launched that alpha? The HUDs that I've seen so far look more sort of physically based, and focused on, let's see, I thought I had here's a picture of one. Focused on being a little more like, some people will say NASA punk a little bit. It's, let's see. He says it's a fully material-based Unreal Engine 5, developing a space simulator in Unreal Engine. So this is one of the developers, Citizen Kai. He actually posts quite a bit on the Space Sim subreddit. This is the current version of the in-cockpit HUD. It's part of the 3D environment, not a separate UI overlay. Built entirely using materials, no UMG widgets. The game uses real-world scale, no gameplay-friendly simplifications. Similar to, I hear a lot of people when they see like the Moby Glass or the HUD in Star Citizen, and they're like, I want to press the buttons. No, I want to interact with that like it's physical rather than something I have to lock into as a UI. So I've seen some people really call that out as being interesting. If you're wondering what the camera type is, I believe it's first person. Now, they have a roadmap here, and they've been working through it over the last year or two, about year to year and a half. Starting out with a habitation zone demo, a hangar demo, Maverick, how was it when you tried this out, by the way? They got ship flight in here, so you can kind of read through the more specifics of what's going on, modeling, texturing, VFX for the host station. Moving forward, this year they started out with orbital flight. So they got orbital flight systems figured out, orbital physics simulations, effects of celestial bodies' gravity. Getting, again, a little more into that space sim detail, a little Kerbal energy. Planetary System V1 came out this year with full-scale moon generation, close orbit surfaces around those moons, and orbital POIs. Got vehicle turrets to control and target, and a vehicle combat interface. Now, the big one I've been waiting for was the Q2 update. This was actually introducing planetary landing, which I think is a big part of being a space game nowadays. Sorry, Starfield. The update includes everything you need for low orbit travel, landing, and surface travel. So they got this released, I think, maybe last month or 1 month before that. They got a vehicle landing interface, landing gear going, physics simulation for landing. They started doing resource extractors on planetary surfaces, so mineral extractions now available to players. The interface is available to players. Trading system V1. It is now possible to sell items at the station or other trading hubs, which is nice. Purchasing items at the station is available. Trading interface is fully functional. Vehicle cargo bays, cargo volume limits for specific vehicles, and then surface areas. This was the big one that I was really like waiting before I wanted to try it out, just because I think that gives a better perspective. Beyond that, though, you can see that the roadmap keeps going. Planetary Systems V3. They're creating a foliage generation system. They've got derelict wreck extracting, life support system with oxygen consumption and replenishments coming in. This would be Q3 of 2025. Looks like they are 45% of the way done with this update. So definitely some more work to do. We won't be seeing that for a little while. But if you keep following it along, it does definitely have that sort of, that I don't want to say SC Lite, because I think that Star Citizen is still going for a much more widely featured game style. But this does seem like if you were going to take the Expanse universe and maybe make a space sim out of it, it might look something similar to this. That's not to say that they use all of the same physics of flight as the Expanse does. I know that's a big part of that. But it's a single solar system. It is much more old school feeling to me. And I think this is something that people might be interested in as a first or second or third or maybe 4th or 5th or 6th game. I don't know, however many games you play. Everybody's got that Steam wish list. Or not even the wish list, the Steam backlog. I think this could be an interesting one, though, to keep in the back of your mind. Not saying that this is ready to be jumped in right now. That's what we'll be testing later when I actually get to play the game. But it does seem like something to keep an eye on over the next year or two. Now, the dev has been pretty active, like I said, in the Space Sim subreddit and answered a couple interesting questions. One of which was, God, why is this white? One of which was, here we go. So this person asked, how does this differ from spacecraft? We've gone over spacecraft here on the channel before. Kind of a combination of like Dyson Sphere Project and Satisfactory-ish Imperium kind of. Like it's a space adventure building game, basically. But the dev says, we don't focus on building, crafting, or the entire galaxy. We're working on a multiplayer immersive experience in the solar system. So when it comes to things like base building and crafting, not necessarily something to expect here. This is more of an exploration-focused game. And he even goes further to clarify that here. So somebody says that they want a single-player game because multiplayer is always online. Garbo. And he said, thank you, but I think there are some good single-player games in a similar setting. Now, this person responded with, well, except Elite Dangerous, Star Citizen, No Man's Sky are all multiplayer. I would say No Man's Sky feels more like a single-player game, to be honest. But the developer responds by saying, multiplayer that is focused on exploration rather than PvP. That's great, and that's what we are doing. So they have some goal of being a little bit less combat-focused, even though if you go to their main page and it talks about combat here, space battles, it does sound like at least the dev wants to give the idea that this is a little more exploration and curiosity focused than it is getting into conflict. So I think that's yet another thing that might catch some people and perk some ears. If you're looking for a game that's more about exploration in a kind of more realistic space sim environment, this might be for you. Here's a look at one of the space stations in the game. And here's a concept image of some of the ships. So this is just to give you some of the vibes of what they're going for. Again, I think it hits that more tactile, quote unquote, NASA punk feel that people have been talking about when it comes to Starfield. And I like the design languages. It just had an update recently. It looks like this is third person. So I'm not even sure if it's actually going to be first person. I thought it was. But this is showing off. I'll read his own caption. A quick work in progress test demonstrating field of view scaling in a large scale environment. The goal is to maintain a sense of scale and detail during movement through vast procedural spaces. Custom built world streaming system for a real scale solar system simulation. Seamless traversal with no loading screens. This test demonstrates loading and rendering for a space station orbiting around the moon at a distance of 10 kilometers. This is the kind of stuff that got people pretty interested in Star Citizen too, not gonna lie. I still remember when he landed on Lear 3 and they looked up at the space station. That whole vibe. But if you want to see more updates on this, I would just check out the Space Sim subreddit, because he drops them like I think once a month, maybe once every 2 months. Or even better, you could check out my new series, Space Games Weekly, which is a new video series I'm publishing every Monday. I'm trying to hit every Monday. That goes over just the different news that's hitting games like this. Space games, sci-fi games, Dune Awakening, Star Citizen, Elite Dangerous, Jump Ship, Exodus, Osiris, Reborn, whatever it might be. My goal is to try and gather up the interesting games in the genre that I think people would like and presenting them in a fun format on a reliable timescale going forward for who knows how long. Big shout out and thanks to anybody who has checked that video series out. I just posted the first one this week. And if you've ever done YouTube, you know it's difficult to drop new types of content on an existing channel. So anybody who has checked that out, your view goes a lot longer than you think. So quick look at Verse Project. Again, something I think that people will be interested in. Sounds like it is still pretty early days, which I know we're all triggered by that phrase. But I do think that this is something to keep an eye on along with all the other amazing space games that we see being developed. Is Starship Simulator on my radar? Yes. I did a video about that earlier this year, I think, on Space Tomato 2. But that's something that I'll be including in Space Games Weekly as well. Is this an MMO? You know, I don't think it's an MMO. Actually, I don't know. They don't say MMO. They just say that it's an open multiplayer environment. What that means, undetermined right now. It might be limited to 20 people in a single instance. You don't really know until you know. And I think that they're probably not at the place where they're ready to specify that, depending on the interest that hits them and what they want to do. Let's see. Player fleets. You can now create fleets, temporary player groups to perform activities in the verse.
Toes.
You can create and manage your own.
SD_2. Togang chat. Hello.
Game chat. Hello. Thank you, Chief Tygon, for the 6 months subbed up over here. You are an appreciated tomato. Global events, rewards, event influence. I don't know what the scale that they want to do this when it comes to players in the game, but I'm guessing they want to try and hit some level of player congruency where you're running into random people. But we will see. Space exploration focused game based on a single solar system and some immersive spaceflight. Developed in Unreal Engine. We'll keep an eye on this. Space Engineers 2 has been looking interesting lately as well. Yeah, it didn't have the best early access launch, huh? Smart for them to see there's a market for that. I think, not gonna lie, I think Star Citizen really opened the eyes of people to how much folks want good space games. Like, if this random company can come out and sustain itself for 12 years just on developing a space game, you think there's got to be other folks that are like, okay, let's jump in on this. Let's give this a shot. Took a little while, but we're getting there. Steam page says MMO, thousands of players in the same shard or universe. Okay, cool. There is a demo. You can play the demo. You can download it and play it right now if you'd like to. Also showed other devs not to try and do it. Yeah. Yeah, I don't think you're wrong there, Hustle Bones. I think there is also a sense of you got to be very careful with what you're actually trying to do when you build a space game. Space games are hard. I mean, what is it that drives everyone to space? Curiosity, exploration, massive scale, all things that are not very easy to do in a game unless you're using procedural generation, in which case you lose a lot of the character, a lot of the soul, a lot of the fun. So there's like a balance you have to hit, and it's not easy right now. Alrighty. Now it is time to take a look at this Q&A on Star Citizen's sounds. Spaceship noises, gun firing, animal roars, farts. Everything that is sound needs to be transmitted through a medium. And if you're not in a medium, nobody can hear you fart in space. So let's see what their solution is to that. Well, I mean, I guess I don't need a solution for farting in space. But like, you think we'll get farts in game? Like after you eat too many double dogs? Or maybe just one of those pickles? You think we'll get the pickle farts in Star? Sorry. Let's get into this. I am ridiculous. We are going to check out the audio updates in Star Citizen. This is going to be a live watch through of the most recent Star Citizen Live. Audio is something I think makes a big deal in a game, especially a space game. So I'm looking forward to hearing what they have to say about this. I know they've also got a couple announcements about ships in development, but mainly I am looking for news on how are we doing in getting towards realistic audio in space and like the ability to break that experience from damage. Thank you for joining. I hope to provide some level of insight into this as we go along with it, but mainly I'm here to watch with you and comment on the things they're saying. Let's get into it.
It sounds like paradiddle. Oh, you know about paradiddles, don't you?
I do. I play drums, so I try to.
You're a drummer.
Yeah.
But we're musicians on the front row.
Yeah.
Hey, hang on.
Hang
They're
on.
talking.
Hang on.
Show them.
Sorry about
Jared got
that.
a
Are we on
haircut.
now?
Yeah, we were on.
Sorry, we're talking about music and drummers.
For some reason, you guys are talking. They're showing me.
Sorry about that. Sorry about that, community. Very irresponsible of us.
We were just discussing the true nature of English accents here in the pre-show.
Which Jared did rather well.
Yeah, he's
What?
actually British. I can only do the Monty Python ones. I can only
What in it? Sorry.
do the
Do it
Monty
again.
Python
Do
ones.
it.
Sorry.
You're showing us. Look, Sherry, we had to get out of bed half an hour before we went to sleep and lick the road clean with our tongues. And when we got home, our fathers would slice us in two with a bread knife. You try to tell the young people of that today, they won't believe you.
That is not bad. That's pretty good.
He sounds like an American
done.
trying to be British.
It wasn't Yorkshire.
I know because I do it a lot.
I'm just going to
No,
point
it's
it
not
out.
bad for an American.
Yeah.
I think you're American.
Hi, everybody. Welcome to, what show is this? Star Citizen Live. What did we call it? Sounding things out.
That kills me that he said, "What show is this?" Because partially it makes sense because they do so few Star Citizen Lives that maybe you forgot. But also part of it doesn't make sense because they don't do almost any shows anymore, so it's hard to mix them up.
Out. Oh, I love a good pun. I'm your host, Jared Huckabee, and if you haven't seen Star Citizen Live before, it's where we take roughly about an hour at the end of certain weeks. We invite some of our developers over, take them away from the very busy work that they'd rather be doing, and make them answer questions from you, the Star Citizen community. On the show this week, a team who's always been near and dear to my heart, but we don't get to have on as often because they like to hide in their sound dampened booths
Caves.
and do their work. Members of the CIG audio team. So let's go ahead and jump on in and meet some of the folks because it's always somebody's first show.
This is a gremlin grinding with a misc fuel pod over there on the left corner.
Phil, we're going to start with you just because you're elevated the highest in the field of vision right
The
now.
most important.
Tell everybody, well, I wasn't going to go that far. Tell everybody who you are and what you do for Star Citizen.
Well, my name's Phil Pierce-Smallwood, and I'm a senior audio manager for the audio team, supporting the whole audio department to deliver on both Star Citizen and Squadron 42. But more recently, been working closely with Simon to deliver on Star Citizen.
So, manager role now. Do you still get to do any?
Wait, what's his name? Have we met him before?
For the audio team. My name's Phil Pierce-Smallwood, and I'm...
What? Phil Pierce-Mort? What did he say? Bill. What?
Who you are and what you do for Star Citizen.
Well, my name's Phil Pierce-Smallwood, and
Smallwood. You British.
I'm working closely with Simon to deliver on Star Citizen.
So, manager role now. Do you still get to do any design at all?
Yeah. So I kind of moved into that role to kind of when we had a change of leadership a few years back, and I was trying to build up the team to make sure we could logistically deliver. But then as time's gone on, I've been more and more involved back with the creative development. So I'm doing some prototyping, some audio concepting and stuff like that, and generally helping lead the team with Simon.
Give me an example of the latest sound you've designed.
Ooh, what did I do?
Parts.
Well, jump points, when we did that a little while ago, I concepted all of that.
I mean, make the sound with your mouth.
Oh,
Yeah, that was pretty good. Wait, did he freaking he straight up just put that in the microphone and they put that in game?
yeah.
Graham, who are you and what do you do for Star Citizen?
I'm Graham Phillipson, and I'm the, what am I now?
Director of Audio Technology.
That's it, Director of Audio Technology, yeah. My head's fried today. But yeah, I direct the audio technology, so I decide what we're developing and make all the sounds able to sound as good as they can.
And when does Claudius come out?
Well, it's not
Yeah,
called Claudius
dude, that's what I was
anymore,
about to say. Where's Claudius?
so it never comes out. No, Star Audio is out there in some forms, and it's going to gradually weave its tentacles through.
All right, so we got to do a little history lesson here, folks. Claudius It's like everything else, right? Quantum is now StarSim. The character customizer is now StarMe. Sorry, that's just my own joke. I think it's funny. But they, like years ago, they were telling us about Claudius, which is a new sound tool. What's it? A new sound tool that they were working. Yeah, here we go. Look at the Claudius tool.
So let's take a little look at Claudius itself. What we've done is we've introduced a visual scripting language that allows you guys to implement whatever you want, and we provide tools.
So, I mean, they tell us a lot of their internal names, I guess, as they're developing stuff. And Claudius used to be what they were very focused on, like physicalizing the audio platform of the game. And this whole presentation was pretty interesting. They went through a lot of how these things work graphically.
The result of that, we're going to set it on a couple of parameters on that object. And then, as I said before, everything is live updated. So we're going to see the result of what we do here. We're going to hear the result of what we do here immediately once we've done it. So just finish hooking this up, and we'll pass over to the editor view once that's done. See our acceleration. But now, as the character runs around carrying it, we can hear the sloshing sounds. We can hear them play when it's dropped. And all this is coming from this set of parameters in Claudius that are being multiplied together just for a bit of fun. So all that was done without any code support. The code system had never seen that entity before. It could have been literally any entity in the game. And what we've done there is we've been able to express the contents of that entity without any additional help from the code team. So that's a really sort of freeing thing for the sound designers to have available.
As we've seen with how easy it is to implement something.
So I guess it's moving it less from like a code-based thing and more to a physicalized representation of sound and where it would come from.
Design of SIG Audio and Claudius aims to solve future problems before we know what they are. And where it can't solve them completely, it's going to make it easier to solve them. As new game features come along, and we don't know what they're going to be yet necessarily.
You can straight look at they're reading off scripts. Which is okay. I mean, that's part of doing these kinds of things. It's just very, very produced as a talk.
We want to be able to support them as quickly as possible, but also we want to be able to reuse everything.
For the record, you kind of always read off a script in these sorts of things. Well, not always, but a lot of times.
Recreate. And the SIG Audio and Claudius design is central to that. It's all about reuse, and it's all about having systemic features that are available to sound designers.
I think what's so great about this technology is that we're going to be able to take all this information from the game, bring the audio engine into the game engine, and just make it all so easy to access. I think one key aspect of Claudius that the audio team is really looking forward to is sympathetic audio. So this is the cause and effect that we were talking about before. I think having this like one event trigger another, for example, it's going to make the game a lot more cinematic. Everything's going to be real time. We're not going to have to pre-render all these events. It's basically going to become procedural, which means that a lot of these scenarios that you get into, a lot of these different contexts that you can get into while you're playing the game, we're going to accommodate them. And you're going to get, really just vastly different experiences every time you do something.
So this was several years ago, 2021, when they were like fully working on Claudius and trying to figure out, I guess, how to get it into the game engine and the basics of it. I think if you look at the top of the screen up here, you can see something like Claudius 0.1.
Back up so you can see they all come back again.
This is Claudius 0.1.7. Like that was early in development. Let's hear what they have to say about this stuff now.
Through the rest of the code.
And joining us for the first time on any CIG programming whatsoever,
Thank you very much for having me.
Tell everybody who you are and
I'm
what
the
you
audio
do.
director of Star Citizen, and I'm here to just have a great time making fantastic sounds for Star Citizen. Just have a great time making fantastic
ad spot. CIG sponsored by Fanta.
Fantastic sounds for Star Citizen, bringing it from now to the future. and work with a wonderful team and work with more people that are coming in and be in charge of them and just make things sound rather jolly.
Gotcha. We won't spend too much time on it, but the long-time viewers
I like
had
jolly
a chance
things.
to meet Phil and Graham before, so I want to take at least a couple minutes and get to know you a little bit better.
Okay.
You're a relatively recent addition to the team. How long?
Very fresh. I came in April.
April.
So I've been here 4 months, and with a remit to make the game more cinematic and immersive. I've got a background in film, which we won't go into now, and I'm bringing that sensibility to the game, along with all of the design experience that we want to bring to the game. I'm here to listen to the community more, and I'm here to deliver a game that I would want to play, and more importantly, what I'd like to hear, and that's why I'm here.
In a procedural thing, most people won't ever be aware of. We have this kind of long-standing internal rule that we never make anybody do a video in the first 6 months. They work here, but you've really hit the, if I might say, you've hit the ground running since you started here and kind of accelerated. We were just, again, another behind-the-scenes thing. We were just in a presentation. I got to see you give to all the directors of the project just yesterday, detailing the new roadmap to 1.0 and all the things you want to deliver and stuff. And it's been really exciting to see you come in and hit the ground running and take the reins of the team.
I've got lots of things I want to bring, which I would love to tell you. Not now. I've got a fantastic sack of goodies that I want to bring to the game. Sonic Gold, and that's what I want to do for the game.
So,
Alan said maybe reading too much into it, but maybe first sign CIG is focusing on SC. This guy couldn't have been hired for Squadron, right? No, I mean he literally said he's hired for Star Citizen. I don't know if that's necessarily them focusing on SC in the same way that it is naturally growing the team. I think it'll happen at some point, but I wouldn't read too much into it. Thinking that they're starting to focus on SC is just a way to get burned. Good morning, Brutus.
With that in mind,
thank you for the super chat, though, Alan. Appreciate you, man.
We do as we are wont to do. We put up a thread up on Spectrum, which is our bespoke communication platform available on robertspaceindustriescom. We added that thing like maybe 8 years ago now, and I still shill for it. I could probably stop. Let's find out if I can stop shilling for it. Although the habit's so ingrained, I probably can't. We took your questions. We saw which ones you voted up more, and we have selected a cadre of them to address today. So we're just going to jump right into it. From Horan Van. What happened to the glorious flyby sounds from years ago? And should we expect the magnificent sound quality to ever come back to our ships? This was just a topic of conversation in Director Chat last week.
This is also answered at CitizenCon.
Yeah, amazing timing on this.
That is bizarre. Okay, shall I start first?
Yeah.
Feel free.
They are there. They are going to come back, but they're going to come back with a little bit more enthusiasm in the future. I really want them to vibrate. I want you to feel them go overhead. I want you to, they are going to come back. Over to Graham on, where they are now and where they will be in the future.
So there's been a period of transition, I guess, on some of the sounds that we've been working on, and things aren't exactly where we want them to be. We've seen the videos you're talking about. We know how good things were then, and we absolutely want to bring that back. We've had meetings about it just this morning and yesterday, and we're making it a priority to bring those back.
Question.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, we were actually literally talking about it. Yes, I was presenting yesterday.
This isn't bizarre, though, Simon. This is just because we listen to the community and we want to.
Yeah. Well, community, they are coming back, but slightly better than they are at the moment.
Because all the sounds are there in our Wise project. It's just there have been some back-end changes.
I was going to say, what happened? Why did they disappear?
Well, sometimes the project's always evolving, so the kind of hooks that our audio systems rely on can change. And depending on how much resources we've got and time, sometimes we have to prioritize newer content or different things. But now we're building the team to be able to get back to all of that good stuff and make sure that we don't lose any part of the experience and just make it better.
Yeah, so we didn't intentionally take them out. It was
more
another aspect of the game grew. A bug happened.
Yeah,
we haven't been able to
there's been a
it.
gradual shrinking of how big the ship sounds are in order order to make the game performant. But now we're reworking that so they can be performant and you can hear them a long way away as well.
Yep. Let's see. Next question. McSpaz. What is the state of the realistic audio mode? Oh, we've been talking about this thing forever.
That's it, Graham.
Yes.
Yay! Another chance to go look at some references. I know exactly where to find this. Stand by. This would be CitizenCon 2023. Shaping the verse, I believe. Realistic audio. Toes.
Sounds good. But what if we wanted a little more realism? The audio propagation tech that we've been
Literally exactly how the NPCs fly, just crash into
rolling
you.
out makes it easier to change the soundscape in real time, and a nice use of that technology is to provide a more realistic option. Here, your own weapons resonate through the hull of the ship. Only what's in the pressurized cockpit is heard clearly, and the threat level feels higher due to the isolating lack of enemy weapon and ship audio.
Just circling each other. Realistic audio, realistic gameplay.
Making these changes creates space in the audio, both spectrally and temporally, making impacts seem bigger, more damaging, more of a problem for the player. This realistic mode isn't limited to the flight experience, it's applied appropriately to the game as a whole. Here's an FPS battle in a depressurized area. With realistic mode, we get that sense of isolation again, giving the location a different colour and adding variety to the audio experience. Player breathing and foley are exaggerated, and other sounds are transmitted through physical contact.
That's the sound I make when I get penetrated by a bullet. Ow!
That's all from us for now. We look forward to getting these new audio features into your hands.
So, I think it's a cool idea, and I look forward to seeing how that progresses. They're gonna completely remake the system. Sounds like CIG. Yeah, I don't know what system they were using before, but if they were just using whatever was in CryEngine originally, then it makes sense to remake the system. But yeah, I don't know what they're coming from.
So, you know, we demonstrated realistic audio mode some time ago. Yeah, I know. The problem we have is that the game is huge and we have to treat every single sound in the game with realistic mode in order to be certain that we're giving you the experience we want you to experience. Plus, we also have, you know, game development is difficult. Scheduling is probably the most difficult part of game development. So we're working on getting all that work into the schedule. It's not there right now. We have ships to deal with. We have ship flybys right now. Beyond that, we're going to be looking at moving all that stuff over to realistic mode, and it will be within your hands at some point. I don't want to start promising dates, though.
No promising.
And the Baki, thank you so much for the Prime sub, by the way. Appreciate you 10 months supporting the crew, supporting the stream. If you guys do want to support the stream and you have Amazon Prime, you can always use your Prime sub. It's free every month. Or you can use it on any streamer you enjoy. It doesn't have to be us. But make use of that. Take Amazon's money.
Bit of what I want to bring to it as well. So I've got a whole sack of stuff that I want to bring to the game.
That's the second time you've mentioned your sacks.
It's a big sack of Sonic Delights.
Stack.
But it's going to come. I mean, sometimes things go missing. I mean, we're in dev. I mean, I don't know how many sounds I looked at. It says over 700,000 sounds in the game already, and we're going to be bringing more to them, and we're polishing it all the time.
All right, well, if you mention stack one more time, I'm going to make you share something that's inside it.
Zach. Jaybird asked, wait, what sound do you make when you get penetrated, Space Tomato? One of these. My mind. People complain for drama. Now, I want to preface my podcast this week with, like, there are plenty of complaints in the podcast. I make complaints, I would say, enough for people to say that I'm a hater and I'm trying to kill the project. Not always for drama. I think it's important to give some good, healthy, constructive criticism and complaints around things that maybe aren't going exactly how CIG planned. Feedback can be good feedback.
Master Ringer.
Let's not have fun. The last thing we want to do.
That specific type of fun.
Risky.
Just do it now.
Come on, Jared.
Open your sack for me.
Oh, you.
What do you want to know? What do I want to offer the game? Well, we're going to be immersive at some point, so we will be going much more immersive. So that means, what does that mean to the player? I know it's a very overused word. We're going cinematic because that's what, I was brought on to do. So we're going to be, every environment you're in, you're going to feel like you're in the environment. I don't want to go into the nitty-gritty details about what systems we're developing with Star Audio or any other systems I would like to bring to the game. But fundamentally, I want this to sound as good as it can be. I don't want to make rash promises like the best game ever. Perhaps let's
the best Star Sim
try
ever.
and make it the second best, and then people will remember that, and then we can go to the first best a little bit later on down the line. But I mean, you're going to feel like you're actually in something. Now, one of the biggest experiences. Am I ranting already? No. I mean,
That's why you're
everyone,
here.
we want to be in a spaceship, and when you're in a spaceship, you want to feel like you're in a spaceship. I want to make things rock and vibrate, and I want you to feel moved. So that's
Atmos?
That's, Atmos and a little bit more than Atmos.
A little bit more than
Atmos. Atmos Plus.
I like what he's saying, but what he's saying is what CIG has been saying for a long time. I'm glad that they have somebody who is focused on that, and I look forward to seeing what he does with it. But it needs to be implemented. Like he could have great ideas, but if they don't give him the resources to do it, then it doesn't do us much good. So hopefully they do.
Don't ask me
We're
what
not
that is just
modifying
now.
other people's trademarks here.
No. I'm not changing Dolby, but I'm just going to be giving. Don't worry about that, Dolby, if you're listening.
The views and opinions of Simon Network.
Yes. Allegedly.
Can we have a more realistic professional distress call from pilots being attacked by pirates? The current voice line, help, help, I'm being attacked. More professional line would be, mayday, 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 and they just go on with a bunch of examples. Basically, distress calls. Can we make them more engaging, more immersive, more creatively fulfilling?
Yes, whose question? This is a great question.
This is Master Ringer 117.
I don't want to hog all the answers, but I mean, Phil, we've talked about this. So
Yeah.
Phil, yeah?
Yep. Okay. Well, yeah, but we've basically been given a high-level mandate to get more dialogue into the game. Make it more of a dialogue experience when you're doing missions, talking to ATCs, NPCs, all that kind of stuff. So we're working with the whole narrative department to get more dialogue content recorded on our wonderful PCAP stage, which is next door, and getting more of that stuff into the game to really flesh that stuff out.
Cool. I'm going to pull a question from chat.
I'll say this dialogue has taken a huge step up in Star Citizen lately, and it's been pretty nice. Yeah, as Goldtooth says, more British accents. It's Space Britain, but you know what? As long as they're talking.
Here, Nostalgic Ham.
These names are great.
Yeah, I love Twitch names. You guys do great.
Ship horns. Ship horns, please. For the love of God, I'll do anything.
Yes.
Anything.
Anything.
That's what Nostalgic Ham said. They're just offering themselves up. Ship horns.
Cool.
Yeah. Well, like a mini or something a bit more
you honk the
substantial.
horn that plays the cucaracha.
Like get out of my way.
Like honking?
Well, yes. This is something that's entirely possible. Them making some kind of scary noise obviously would be terrific with weight and gravity. So yes, I haven't kind of considered exactly what, but that is a good question.
Yeah, I think I saw it as like war horns. And
I'm
stuff.
thinking now.
So a big capital ship.
Yeah, it's kind of like
few T's out.
I want people to know I'm arriving.
Pulsey.
Yeah, talk about the Elite Dangerous witch space exit sounds. Ooh, let's talk about quantum travel noises, huh?
Like a barge horn.
Oh, something like that.
That'd be epic. Kind of like the Reapers from Mass Effect, or like the War of the World stuff with Tom Cruise.
Somebody just mentioned. I was literally just thinking about it. ACK 625 says the War of the Worlds.
Hey, Ack! You got a mention, dude. Let's go. Garden member Ack getting called out.
Tripod horns. That crazy noise.
Yeah.
Dot Hecate says, will we ever have radio stations we can tune into instead of just in-game background music? Maybe instead of just in-game background, our in-game background
as
music.
well as, surely.
Hey, Pedro,
Offer
your
our in-game
respect.
background music against any game's in-game background music. But question is, radio stations.
You know, I was talking about this yesterday.
You were.
It's true, he was.
This is bizarre as well. Yes, I would love to have radio stations in. And that's what I'd like to do. Maybe radio stations which are exclusive to certain planets, and when you fly away from the planet, you don't receive that transmission. Maybe when you fly to a colony somewhere, you get a slightly different style of radio station. I mean, all manner of things: radio, music, narrative, adverts, shipping forecasts, how much rocks cost.
Yeah, I was there. A couple
number stations.
Yeah, I feel like it was maybe
number stations.
Maybe 2 or 3 months ago, there was a backer who basically invented like an hour-long string of what a Star Citizen radio station would be like. They used AI
with trucker music.
Yeah, it was trucker music and everything. And yeah, I don't want to turn this into a conversation about AI because I despise AI with the fiery passion of 10,000 suns, but it was rather compelling to listen to for a while and stuff, and so it's going to be an interesting challenge finding resources and figuring out how to implement that and stuff. But there's no secret. We've talked about it for years. It's something we want.
I think it'd be
it's
brilliant.
something Chris wants. Like that. So finding a way to make that happen will be an interesting.
No, I mean I talked about this yesterday. So yes, that is something. I've forgotten who asked this question, but that is something definitely I'm considering.
Yes, 10,000 AI generated suns Event Horizon. Absolutely.
to be correct.
Salty Mike asks, oh, never mind, we'll just skip this. Vixor asks, will we see more audio for ships in their damage state, such as alarms blaring, especially on larger multi-crew ships?
Yes, we will. We're going to elevate all of the sounds in the ships, particularly on the console UI and things like that. You will absolutely get that kind of stuff. Basically, I'm going to be elevating the experience in all vehicles and ships. They're going to have much more personality and much more presence.
And one thing we want to bring in as well as Star Audio is that we make it much easier for the sounds on the ship to be aware of what's happening to the ship itself. So something like damage to the ship's power systems would cause things like light sounds to dip a little bit, and ambiances maybe to drop and things like this, and you would feel the impact no matter where you are on the ship.
The audio in ships right now,
stuff is tied when it's like.
It's just like it's so janked. But I mean, that's quite a bit of the game. I'm really glad that they're gonna improve the sound inside of spaceships, because right now it's just so unimmersive. You hear things through walls. Sometimes thrusters are glitching or sound super loud when you're nowhere near the engines. I will love getting better audio support on large ships for sure.
VFX and kind of binary things that are being triggered. We'd really want to kind of properly flesh out the damage states for ships, so you'd be able to hear things not working quite as well as you want.
I want to add on to this. They mentioned alarms blaring and stuff, but Tannoy, the ability. This is all about when things go wrong. Having that ability for the pilot or the captain to hit a button and then speak so that it radiates through the entire ship.
Yeah, so we have
gotta have it.
As it stands, the VoIP system is creaking a little bit under the pressure of how heavily we've pushed the player count on our servers.
Really?
So we need to do some rework there. But I think this goes back to the ship horns.
See, I don't want to hear we need to do some rework there. I want to hear we have reworked that and we want it in the next update. Because, oh my God, we can't VoIP needs to work in this game. It's insane that we still can't reliably communicate with each other.
Question as well, because we've talked in the past about being able to make announcements outside of the ship. So you could approach some other players on a planet's surface, and you could just switch on the mic and just let them know that they're in some trouble or whatever. You know, you do all that kind of thing, and this is all built into the design of VoIP. But yeah, we need some back end work too.
Well, that's why. Also, we will be introducing an element of vibration to this ship. So, yeah, I mean, whenever there's damage, you will feel it as well as hear it, as well as an audible signal or an alarm system. So, you know, there will be all sensors aware.
Well, the reason I skipped the question is because I wanted this one first. It's like to hit you with this one next. Salty Mike's question: what are you doing, if anything, to improve VoIP? It's super inconsistent.
Yeah.
It is.
Yeah, well, as I just alluded to, we have back-end issues there. They are on the list to be looked at. I don't know when they're going to be scheduled in, but this is all work for our team over in Turbulent in Canada to look at, because the VoIP back-end was designed in a time when we had 50-player server caps, and now we have, 500-player server caps. So that system,
to scale.
Yeah, that system hasn't grown. I didn't build it at all.
That's like half the systems in the game too. Like, just so much of this game you can tell was built for such a smaller environment that most of it has to be redone for scale in some way.
So what does that fix, that evolution path, kind of look like? Because VoIP is one of those. You know, once upon a time, it was a signature Star Citizen thing, and it, that along with VoIP, face over IP. But it is kind of falling into this realm of the opposite of feature creep, the backlog of fixes and stuff like this. I'm not going to ask you to go through the entire chain of fixes necessary, but at a top level, what needs to happen?
So what needs to happen is a rework of the back end so that it can handle these hugely elevated player counts.
Rework time.
Be able to communicate cross shard, so it basically needs to become completely independent of servers and shards, and it needs to be running in its own back end entirely, so that anyone can communicate with anyone. That is all work that I'm not going to be part of and not familiar with, so it's very much kind of, as I say, our team in Canada. But once they've done that, then the hookup on the game side is not much different to how it is now. So as you know, when it works, you're able to communicate with each other, but it is inconsistent, and it's inconsistent because of this back-end issue.
Definitely one of those things that they won't care about because it's not in Squadron. It's like, why? We don't need VoIP for a single-player game. Put it off until it's absolutely necessary. Rig, good to see you in chat, dude. Hustle said they're going to update it for 500 players just as the cap goes up to 5,000.
Sounds like this guy I used to go to high school with, who had a girlfriend in Canada. I've got a team in Canada there. But yeah, no, it was struggling before the advent of server meshing, and then when server meshing came out, it was just, it's not quite the bullet in the head of old Yeller, but it's really made it. Yeah. It's really exasperated the issue. So we're going to have Benoit's due to come back on in a couple weeks and do a big update to that show we did in February, where we just talk about all the technical features and whatever, and we'll have an update on the work for VoIP and FoIP there.
Yeah.
Bro, that is such a... Thank God. That's such a big deal. We need that Star Citizen live.
Can't tell you when it's going to be. I don't remember.
Tell me.
St. Paulus. Are there plans to add variety to the rain sound effects? Roof sound, no surface, etc. Or maybe there are some engine limitations currently?
Rain in space?
Yes. So this is a classic us thing. So we scoped the rain initially for Stormageddon to support that event.
Stormbreaker.
Stormbreaker.
Using the internal name again.
Stormageddon. And then the way that we looked to implement it, it actually unintentionally scaled across the entire verse. Now, a rain system is huge. You need to make sure you've got all the different types of rain. You've got all the different types of surfaces, material types, material construction. Like a metal barrel will sound very different to a metal canopy versus it being inside of a car. So yeah, it's considered our rain system like version 0.5.
Yeah,
and we'll continue to work on it.
It's really complicated. I mean, precipitation on all, like you're saying, on surface. We've got so many surfaces to consider, and also the speed of the rain, which angle it's going at, how intense it is, and what it hits, and how it hits stuff. And sometimes rain can sound like white noise, and it's really a challenge trying to make precipitation sound good, and that's what we want to do. It's got to hit different surfaces. It's not as easy as you would think, and it gets in the way of things sometimes. The way we mix the rain and the way we're going to have to dip it down so we don't affect the music and the narrative challenges and anything else. It's very tricky. To do that, we had to get the stuff out for Storm, and because it was in the Storm, obviously. But it's going to be across the verse, and it's going to hit lots of different areas.
So I think that's an example of where you just can tell that the resources aren't there for Star Citizen. That, like he just said, they had to get the rain in. It wasn't like, oh, we've been working on rain and it's ready to go in the game. It was like, we got content that needs rain. You guys need to do that content. You need to get the sound available for that by this quarter. And whatever you can't get done by that quarter, just do later. It's pretty similar to the 3.x line of updates they did, in which they put stuff in for the alpha to make sure it worked, and then they moved on and came back to it later. It's something that I really wish they weren't doing post 4.0. But again, I think it just goes to show that they still don't have the resources they need to fully feature these additions as they come in. And they're just moving really fast this year with these constant updates. Not ideal, but I am glad we got rain
in different ways.
Yeah, I often say we had the same conversations the backers do just several weeks earlier, and when the first reviews for Stormbreaker came in, we were saying the same thing. It's like we should be hearing it here. It should sound different when it hits this versus when it hits this.
Of course it should. Yeah, absolutely.
It's just time.
Yeah, it is time.
There's a full dynamic weather system planned, and we'll be fully supporting that. This is going to be more limited, but it's limited but far-reaching, and now we need to backfill and sort it out.
I'd love to know what they mean by dynamic weather outside of the clouds moving dynamically and precipitation forming. I'm guessing they mean if you're in a storm and that storm moves up the Microtech mountain, that the rain will turn into snow kind of thing.
Tonio Folks. I said that right. Has the team been working on or planning for what to include for ATC chatter for the approach to stations?
I like these questions.
Have we?
Yes, we have.
Oh, it's content. I'm code.
Next question.
Yeah, hold on. Yes, we have. So, it's in its infancy. We want to bring a lot more ATC into it. Obviously, this has narrative implications. So we're building. We're going to be working with Dave on this, obviously, to see what we can do to increase the amount of ATC. But I'm fascinated by ATC anyway. It's one of my things. So yes, is the answer to that.
Yeah, as part of that mandate to get dialogue into the game. Yeah, it might not be direct dialogue. We might also be looking to add open comms, open channel ATC when you're near points of interest on planets or cities or points of interest in space, just to give life.
Need that open comms. Oh my gosh, yes, dude. That was one of the great things that I learned when I played Elite Dangerous for the first time, and I saw a cruise ship giving some kind of description of what they were flying by in text format. And I was like, oh, that's sick. Imagine with open comms.
And ideally have it contextual about what's going on.
Yeah,
and put little nuggets in there.
And it's a big part of the experience of being in a ship. When it moves, you get lots of ATC. If you've ever been inside, the cabin of an aeroplane, there's stuff going on all the time, and we want to bring that real experience to the game.
I missed the name.
Mick Jaggis, thank you so much for the Prime sub, mate.
It's interesting. Discord can do 1,000 people in a voice chat, and they're struggling to have 600. And it's like,
why would you make that comparison? Yeah, I think Discord's going to have a better chat service than CIG.
No 3D positioning, no cross-server broadcasting. It's not exactly the same thing.
But it's also, Discord's a company based entirely on the idea of chatting. Shouldn't we expect theirs to be better? Maybe not for the context of Star Citizen, but in terms of quality and support. That's weird.
We have to run a game at the same time.
And they can focus on that. Hiddleston. Hi, Hiddleston. Some ships are currently pretty much silent. Origin. That was the direction in the thing. I'm not wrong. And some ships that used to have distinctive engine sounds are now also pretty much silent. Are these ships waiting for a pass, or is it a bug?
It's a combination of the two. So there are some issues where we've made some changes to the flight model, and we haven't been able to get back. Would you say we haven't got around all the ships yet to make them all respond correctly to that flight model change? But it's all part of development. But we also, as part of that update for those flight models, we want to be doing a pass across the whole ship and giving them a nice refresh as well, because some of them are like 8-9 years old.
Yeah, I mean, I'm going to add to this. I mean, I'm doubling the department in order to give a fantastic experience. You know, I've been given the opportunity to increase the department in order to turn this around. The vehicles is the most important thing for me.
That's great.
It's going to get the most fun.
Honestly, that's great to hear. Especially, I was just complaining about work hours, or man hours, women hours,
and
people
just
hours.
Feeding to what you just said, yes, everything's going to get to another stage. It's going to be elevated. The whole flight experience and the whole vehicle experience is going to be what you want and what I want, and I'm not going to let anything get out there until it sounds. Can I say shit hot?
Sure.
You just did.
You know, very excited. So, you know,
that
yes,
is
and I'm
disgusting.
sorry things sometimes don't make a sound, but hey, they're going to be making a sound. It's not a deliberate thing. We've got a lot to do. I mean, it's a very, very, very deep game.
Yeah.
It's
And we've got so much respect.
Oh, dude, we know. We've been hearing it
hurts us
for a
when
while.
things break. You know, as Graham said, I think the first ships I've been about 10 years now was like 9 years ago, and the ship systems we built were built for the game at the time. And if you think how far Star Citizen come and the different flight models we've had and all the changes, we've not been able to keep at pace with that and keep the legacy ships up to date. But working with Simon, we're actually building the team out to be able to have the resources to do that, not just the new ships. It's making sure we're working on all the legacy ships, all the ships that are dearest to the heart, like the Drake Cutlass should never ever sound bad, because we know that's really popular. But we understand that a lot of the ships have fallen below the bar that we've set and the bar that it deserves to be, and we're working hard to rectify it.
Yeah. I'm gonna pause this. This is a good time. I want to get into this now. So. We keep referencing, Simon, you've obviously been here for 4 months. We referenced this presentation that you made last night. You just mentioned that we're bulking up the team and stuff like this. I want to talk about a bigger issue here. Let's step away from that. The backlog. Legacy issues. Legacy issues. It's...
Okay.
Star Citizen, not just audio. Every aspect of Star Citizen always tends to be, whether it's right or it's not, very forward-looking. We are always looking at the next thing. We are always looking. You know, it's if there's a patch, we got that next month's patch. Or if there's a new ship, we got that new ship. The stuff that you guys are doing for the Kruger, by the way, I saw
and another one.
Yep. The good
Kruger got a mention. That ship looks cool.
Yeah, another ship.
Yeah, there's always another ship. You know, we tend to fall into this trap a lot of always looking forward, because we just got to go to the next thing. We got to go to the next thing. We need to add new features. We need to add new content, stuff like this. And the backlog just builds. The backlog just builds. Tech debt begins to mount up. I'm not going to ask you to speak for every department in the company, but I'm curious about your plans. To tackle your backlog and your tech debt. It's got to be more than just hiring people.
Yeah, there are 3 stages, and they're all running concurrently. My remit is to work on the material right now and get that out at a very, very high standard, and that's stream 1, if you like, between now and X. And the other one going parallel to that, below it, is the legacy stuff. Legacy sometimes is a dirty word. It's just what exists now. We're going to elevate that. I've got to run and see what's good and bad in that I would like to keep and change and adapt, and that will become part of the top stream. And the other stream, which is vitally important to me, is the community I build here, but also the relationship which needs to be built further with people out there, the fans. You know, I need to hear from you, and you're part of the, you know, part of the third strand. So it's important to me at the top layer that we're doing very, very high standard stuff from now onwards. Number two is addressing the legacy stuff like this. I don't know, it sounds like we're picking at a scab all the time, the legacy. It's stuff that exists that needs to be polished and cleaned and then join the, you know, the top layers. Some of it is old, it's 10 years old. It's like driving an old 10-year-old car. Some of it may need to be jettisoned. It's not necessarily bad, it's just, you know, dated bad. And then the third thing, which is the way we're going to work together, we're going to be a large department, but I want to hear from people about what we're doing right or wrong. I invite it, and I will be engaging more with the community, because for me that's really part of developing a game and developing a soundtrack.
You've been waiting to get on Spectrum and stuff like that, and I wanted you to wait until we introduced you to
holding me
stuff
back.
Like this. I want to push a little harder on that, because the answer was great. The answer was great, but I'd like to see if I can get something a little more tangible about the legacy stuff. Like how do you tackle it? Is that building a team here that only focuses on old stuff? Does that become boring and terrible for new hires, because who wants to come in and only work on legacy stuff?
It's actually the opposite.
So the first thing is to analyse what is the legacy stuff and divide it into certain categories. For me, the priority is vehicles, so I have to analyse all the vehicles, the ships, etc. Then we've got creatures, we've got Foley, which I'm sure everyone knows what it is. Excuse me if I'm teaching you suck eggs, which is the feet. Right down to the surfaces and the soles. I'll be analysing all of the stuff. We will be analysing weapons. We're going to update all the weapons. Ambiences, the ambient systems, the rain systems, what happens on planets, the flora and fauna. Analysing all plus building on top of that. So it's breaking it down into its component parts. The music, the diegetic music, how we're going to elevate the music more within the game and how it's going to react with all of the greater content that we're going to produce. So it's as if you're coming to a meal and I'm trying to pick at the little bits, right, that's got to change and that course has got to be changed. No, let's not offer that salad anymore. Let's push that one away. Let's have something fresh. So it's breaking it down and analysing each thing, and then the stages of the arc of the way I want to achieve towards version 1. We're in alpha, obviously. Is right. I want to do that first. This is the most important thing. Then I want to do this. So the first thing is vehicles, like I said. And that will feed into the next areas I want to focus on. That doesn't mean those areas are going to be neglected, because I'm going to have a department that's going to be focusing all of it. But I need to prioritise stuff. And the way I prioritise stuff is going to be influenced by what is needed at CIG, but also what the community are upsetting about. I'm kind of not interested to hear about the stuff that's good. I really need to react to the stuff that people are disappointed with. And then I can get a better game, really. I know what's good. So don't tell me what's good.
And to expand on that, and something you touched on, Jared, is because we're able to now increase the team, we'll be building the team.
Honestly,
to be able to look at
3 years, I doubt it. Probably more. This dude's talking 1.0, man. What they're doing is they're building the team that's supposed to actually launch the game as opposed to build the engine. This guy's been building the engine. This guy is going to build the game part. I mean, not to say that they haven't already had it and they've had the opportunities to do that, but this does feel like part of the changeover of actually doing something for Star Citizen that's not just leftovers from everything else, which is good. It's not great to hear it at this stage, but I'm glad to hear somebody saying it out loud that like they need to reach some level of audio quality by the time they release this game. And I don't think they've been doing a good job of keeping that audio quality up until now.
Concept work, so getting in early doors with new features, content, mechanics and whatnot will have people be able to focus on the here and now, what is the current release, seeing that through, and have the people then to go off and look at all the legacy content, actually do all those backlog fixes. But we're very fortunate as a department to be in a period of growth and to be able to facilitate that. Whereas in the past, we may have had the resources just to focus on the here and now and not address the backlog or not jump on the things earlier on.
And one thing I'd like
I also don't think people care too much about audio when it comes to dev. Like, I think audio is more of a, this is not an excuse for them doing it at this point, but audio is like one of the last things they do when it comes to the ship development. I imagine it's one of the things that you do later on with the game development. But they've tried to talk about it a lot in the past. Like we go back to, there's actually a really good Inside Star Citizen they did for this. But I don't know if it like, let's see, sounds of space, ship sounds of space. See, there's been quite a few updates. I remember this one though. This is freaking 2018. I actually really enjoyed this because this is one of the videos that made me really like the Terrapin.
This is a rather subtle layer that sits in the background and plays counterpoint to some of the more energetic layers. So while those bigger, more robust layers will kind of rise in pitch and volume when the ship is exerting itself, this one kind of falls in pitch and sounds a bit sort of thinner and less energetic.
But this must be just them literally just figuring out like all the different sounds in a spaceship they want. And maybe it wasn't worth talking about it back then. It was like, you don't even have, I don't think every spaceship has unique sounds at this point.
This one's a bit more general. It's tied to the numbers coming from the amount of thrust that's happening. So this is kind of describing what the thrusters are doing mainly. Then we have our surge layer, which is more momentary, and it picks out larger thrust events. So lots of acceleration or lots of deceleration tend to push this layer up. Here's the strafe layer now for when we're
having somebody whose job it is to make sure all this stuff is consistent across the game does sound nice. Honestly, I wonder if it's even too early to do. Wait until the game is, I don't know. I'm not a freaking developer. I feel like this is the kind of thing that you do after more of the game is set up, and CIG has a lot more of this game to set up still, but maybe doing it in line with it is a good way. I don't know.
Like to say is that the backlog is fun, right? Because there's nothing a sound designer likes more than working on a finished product. Mm-hmm. There's all these ships that are ready to go that sound designers would absolutely love to get their hands on, given time in the schedule, to make them sound amazing.
You tell me it won't change? Yes. Ah, amazing.
Exactly.
You mentioned Foley. Bound's question here is, are there plans to improve the audio for SCU containers? It sounds like they don't weigh anything at all or are completely empty when you bump into them.
Yeah. Everything's going to be addressed. The weight of everything, the weight of objects is going to be addressed. The way we react with anything in the world and in the game world is going to be changed so that it feels real. Obviously, and stylized within the framework of a game. Yes, that will be addressed.
Yeah, I think that's an extreme example, but when Simon first came in, he gave a demonstration of the kind of things he would want to do to the sounds of Star Citizen, and it was absolutely amazing. But the one word that I think I would take away from it was weight. It was like giving all the doors weight, all the ships weight, just giving the whole game more audible weight, and making things feel more real through it.
Game. So I'm asking another question here.
Me.
Yeah, it's for all of you. I'm going to insert another one here.
What's up, Galather? Good to see you in chat, dude. Can we get a shout out for the man? Thanks for dropping by.
Downstream dependencies. Audio.
That's one for you.
Audio is historically last in the chain.
Oh,
it's almost everybody else has to do their thing when you're building a new piece of content, when you're building a new asset or whatever, before you can even start, before you can really get going. You can maybe do some previs and stuff like that, but you can't really get going until almost everybody else has done their stuff. And Star Citizen has a history of, well, we work until the last minute and before we kick something else. So how do you? I could see the Vietnam flashbacks happening here. How do you work like that?
I mean,
there's
an inevitability to that sound. It's not exclusive to this company, not exclusive to this style of creativity. It happens a lot because, you know, our visual intelligence is far greater than our sonic intelligence. And, you know, what we see first always comes first. And traditionally, the visual element of any creative product generally comes first. And now how do we deal with it?
I want to give my own 2 cents here. When I'm making a video, I generally will write my script, record my script, do all of the video editing, pass it on to one of our editors, and he will do what he can. I get the project back. And then I basically rip up the script again. I don't completely redo it, but I'll change the pace. I might re-record a couple of lines. I'll space out words differently, all based around the music I use. So the music is the last thing. The sound effects are the last thing I do when I'm editing. But even when I go to do it, I still have to go back and fix the other things to make sure they match with the audio. So I kind of get what he's getting at. Like, it's not easy to put it in because audio can completely disconnect from what you're looking at if they're not built to work together. It's actually kind of annoying. It adds a lot to the editing process, but I think an experience is just way better when you build it around the audio. Problem is just that you have to build it first, then add the audio, and then build it around it. That's at least how I do it. Maybe I'm doing it wrong.
It being at the end, well, we just have to deal with it. I mean, it's unfortunate, but we don't start a game with the sound. We start a game with the vision and with the visuals rather, and we're just at that stage, and we just work alongside each other. And we're going to be working alongside each other much more, the different departments, so that we can be organic together. It is unfortunate, but that's what happens. We can't really change that, and it's stressful, and we have to run at the 11th hour. But that's unfortunately what happens.
It's always a race between audio and VFX.
Yeah.
Who's the last person to touch a thing? Well, the reason I was thinking about it because the next question from Vandred says we've received VFX passes to OMSCI 4, CF 337 Panthers and stuff, but no audio. You know, pass on these. The VFX have changed, and now maybe the audio. I think you're suggesting the audio doesn't quite match up with the what you would expect from what they're seeing. So. Does the tail wag the dog here when VFX are like, oh, our schedule allows us to go back and tackle this of the backlog? Do you now have to? Oh, okay. Well, if you're going to do that, we now have to adjust our backlog stuff. How do you manage this?
To some extent, yeah, we do have to. We have to respond to changes in the visuals, absolutely, and we don't always have time to respond to them in the schedule that it's happening in for the visual teams. That's why we're lucky we're a live product, because we've always got another release further down the line where we can make these changes. But I think for us, it's we can't schedule exactly in line with VFX, because VFX are only one element of the game that needs sound treatment, and there are so many other elements that are all asking for the same support at the same time.
But ship weapons is also another key area of focus for us. We're really focusing on the ship experience, and ship weapons is one of that. A key part of that, and we're building out resources to elevate all the ship weapons for the ships, so it's a much better experience.
Well, I know we've got Ship Showdown coming up. It starts sometime soon. I don't know when, but Ship Showdown is this thing where the backers get to vote on their favorite ships and whatnot. You were talking about listening to the community, maybe in your prioritization conversations.
Well, we're already pulling those metrics.
They're literally going to vote. People are literally going to vote for the most important, their favorite ships.
Cool.
Oh, when's this?
It starts. 29th. Starts when? 29th. Of this month? Yeah. Starts the 29th of July.
Oh, that'd be interesting to hear.
Would you believe I work in marketing? More Caffeine says the Volt guns sound brilliant.
Hey, Caffeine. Yo, that's 2 folks from here getting that shout out. Good job, guys.
And the Volt guns do sound cool. Thank you. Cool. It's so weird a lightning-based gun would sound cool, but
we got really talented.
I still think that the Quartz SMG should sound like the what's it called? The gun from the Matrix. Check this out. I kind of actually edited when I was doing my own video on it, which I quickly realized nobody gives a about weapon reviews from me. But I had a lot of fun with it. And one of the things I edited together for this was the Quartz. Yeah, sounding a little... Gun would be to just make it kind of scream like a Banshee, like the gun from at every turn in this game. But that would be... That sound. I would love that coming from the Quartz, because it sounds pretty crappy right now. Otherwise, I think the other guns sound pretty cool.
The team there, they're putting a lot of effort into that.
We're going for gravitas and presence of weapons, so that's good to hear.
McSpaz has another question in here. What is the difference between Star Audio and the realistic audio mode?
It might be easier to list the overlaps because they're very different things. Okay. So Star Audio is effectively a kind of middleware replacement. It's not going to replace Wise, which we will always use, at least for the time being, to play back our sounds, but it's a replacement for the glue between game systems and the audio system that then allows a lot more freedom to sound designers to do whatever they want. So where existing ways of hooking sounds up to things are quite prescriptive, you might look at an animation and say, I want this animation to play this exact sound from the library. What Star Audio does is it allows you to basically just flag the fact that that animation has played and leave the decision on what the sound does down to the sound designer, and they can then make that contextual if they want. They can add logic, they can do all kinds of different things. We can also do things like passing events down hierarchies at runtime. So I always use this example, but if somebody's holding a weapon on the hip and they're piloting a ship and the ship gets hit by a missile, we can make the gun on the hip rattle because the ship got hit, because there's a hierarchy that's being tracked at runtime, which we never had before with the old systems. So there's a lot more contextual information available to all the sounds, and the realistic mode is kind of a subset of that, a sort of microcosm of that whole ecosystem, which is basically listening to whether there's any audio pressure between the listening device, the ears, and the sound emission device, which may be a ship or a weapon or whatever. Yeah. So yeah, it's kind of like the realistic mode is a sort of first use of what Star Audio does, or it's our use of what Star Audio does, but it's got much more aesthetic presence, I think, to the player, which is why I think it's something that people are very interested in. But Star Audio is the tech behind that thing.
Yeah. Hey, Space Marine, thank you so much for the sub. 22 months on Twitch, my man. Hitting that prime. Suck it, Bezos. Hope you're having a good week, dude.
Vibration's a pretty important aspect of sound. It's one of those things, like, obviously anybody that works in the industry, I said it, and all three of you, nodded in exact thing, but because it's not a thing that most common folks ever consider, just how important vibration is.
It's hugely important
Go home and slam your kitchen door and listen to what happens to all the stuff on your shelves and in your cutlery drawer and all that kind of thing. That's the experience we're going for. And I know that's just like a sort of small example of it, but it should be exactly the same if your ship gets hit by anything, or if it gets if a force upon it, which may be gravity, it may be extreme G from performing a maneuver. You want all these things to be straining every single part, that maybe parts that aren't intended to move, but definitely the parts that are as well.
Yeah, I mean, it's a complicated thing to achieve, and we're thinking about it all the time. It's not just a case of just adding metal rattling or a bit of low frequency vibration. We want to bring more to it. I mean, we're considering haptic stuff as well. We want to really consider it from now and build for the future. It's not just a case of noise. It's beyond that. And like Graham says, everything in life has vibration attached to it, because a sound wave moves objects in different ways, and the reflections of those objects affect us in all manner of ways. And we want to bring that experience.
Almost say that vibrations resonate with us.
Yeah.
Oh,
you
nice
might
one.
say that, Phil.
Well, you could almost say.
Almost.
Don't say that when we go live.
Well, shouldn't, yeah, don't do that. But I think a big part of it is action and reaction.
Hey, I was
Like, we can
literally
do all the cool sound
in the
design,
other room and I just heard a terrible pun. I had to come back. What just happened?
In the world and put it in the game, but it would only really give you so much level of immersion. It's more about how does that sound propagate in the 3D space and how does that affect everything else. So this inheritance system where it allows impulses to be passed from an event to everything that's connected and have that all have appropriate vibrations down to the tightest zuzz to the big flappy vibration stuff will really just be
that's
flappy vibration.
Immersion.
Well, yeah,
it's
going to affect everything. It's almost like a force that surrounds us in the universe that we can't see. You know, it's to pardon stealing from another title, but fundamentally, that's going to affect the way we perceive the audio is with this vibration system, and coining it as a vibration system is almost slightly
it's almost limiting, because what we're actually building is a resonance system, and it's not just about making things vibrate because other things that they're physically connected to can vibrate. If we go back to the example we talked at right at the beginning where we've got ship flyovers, there's a heck of a lot of force coming off that thing, and if you've got anything on the ground that can rattle as that thing flies over, we're going to make it rattle.
Okay, now that would be cool.
We've been talking about vibrations for a lot for an aside, but I swear to you,
Star vibration.
I'm feeling those good vibrations.
One more, and I'm going to chuck you out.
Sacral vibrations. What are we doing?
I choked Alberto out earlier in the year, and it's been an emoji on Teams.
Yeah, they did a dive into this. It's pretty easy to find reverberations. This was last year, I believe. Journey to 4.0, huh? Let's see, I think they do some examples here.
Related effects to give you sounds that could not possibly come from our solar system, making the familiar sound unfamiliar in subtle ways.
Yeah, this is a whole talk where he did like recordings and stuff. And
the CIG parking lot is the huge surface area on both levels, with a lot of parallel flat surfaces that can create delays, all kinds of distortions, and it's pretty much one driving element that I wanted to use for Pyro. How cool is that the new building we just moved into could be used this way for the new solar system? Of course, the IR we capture is also digital, which allows us to use them in-game. So, where would it make sense to use IR in-game? So the design has...
You can't even fly that fast in atmosphere anymore.
With a few parameters and a few knobs.
Yeah, this is more looking at reverb than vibrations. A lot of stuff they talk about is stuff that they've shown us before. It's just a matter of when is it in game? Is it in game? When do you notice it?
Do it.
You literally sat down today and weren't in that chair for 30 seconds before you started clinking your soda can on the table. Go to the 3-shot.
Give us a live demo, Graham.
You can take the audio guy out of the audio room, but you can't take the audio out of the audio guy.
Shapang.
We're going to use that sound.
Vec says, or asks, no, he just says. I don't think there's no question here. Local ambient sounds at locations are awesome, but I feel like the game lacks large-scale ambient soundscapes. It would be awesome to be on the outskirts of a city and hear the hustle and bustle in the distance with traffic, sirens, speaker announcements, etc., or to pick up background radio chatter when approaching a spaceport or space station. He has no question here. He
But
just
it
wants
would
you
be
to know
awesome,
it
and
would
we
be
do
awesome.
agree.
Just chilling,
If
just
there were a question-
talking.
No, I mean, gosh, that's more complicated than these question would suggest.
Yeah.
Because I mean, when you come away from a large area of noise like a cityscape, I mean, what do we want to hear? If we're travelling around it, do we want to hear the sirens? I mean, there's so much different propagation, echo, and reverb going on there.
Yeah.
Without it sounding like mush or just noise. I mean, it's an interesting consideration, and of course we would consider it, because when you pull away from a cityscape, you need a sound. But actually, how we focus on that is complicated, because it's not, we would deal with it in a linear way, in a different way we would in an immersive way in a game.
Sounds
So,
ripe
I mean,
for
I haven't
glitches.
really thought about this yet.
It's almost where you tackle it like LODs,
But
at
yeah.
distance. So when you're at 0 point, when you're in the point of interest, like Area 18 or Lawville, a lot of the stuff you'll hear is bespoke and discrete. It's coming from 3D emitters or volumes we put down there, or it's attached to a ship that's flying by. So everything's of the space of what you can see, hear, and feel. And then when you're at mid-distance, we can take that and put in designed content that is like a consolidation of that, and then scale it of what it would sound like at distance.
Yeah.
But Graham's worked on grouping systems and stuff, where we can take, if you've got 3 sound sources, it will know they are the same brush or the same sound source, group them together, and then allow it to play, switch to a group sound version of that, rather than 3 discrete sources. So we can leverage technology like that.
Yeah, so one of the features in Star Audio is this ability to basically convert a sound that's too far away from you to be heard into a statistic that feeds into another sound. So if you think of the city, then you might have lots of vehicles moving around in there, like you say, sirens going off, all these kinds of things. And we can use those statistics without playing all those sounds and creating cacophony. We can use them to decide what sound we should play in their place.
Because we have to make choices. It's not just a case of when you pull away from an environment, we're going to just roll off the top end and give you reverb and make it mushy sounding. We've got to actually pinpoint which are the POIs which you'd want to be sustained orally out of that environment, and then we'd have to respond to stuff that's giving lights or movement. I mean, it's difficult. It's an interesting question, because the challenge is quite difficult.
Tie into time of day and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah. All right,
That's a
we've
lot.
got roughly 10 minutes left. There's a couple more questions I want to get to, so let's see if we can't lightning round some of these. We mentioned Atmos earlier. Cabbage says, will there be options for stereo, 5.1, etc. in the game? Like they can just set the different
Yes.
ones.
Already are, right?
So
Yeah, I bet.
right now it's fully automatic based on what your PC is set to. Effectively, we have some reports that doesn't work, and in development now we have the ability to just choose what you want from a drop-down menu, and that I think it just needs an integration, so it should be something we can get into the next release.
Never say that. Never, ever, ever say that.
We'll say one of the next releases.
One of the upcoming releases.
Yeah, much better.
Because I've worked here for a long time.
Yes.
Don't even have to work there.
major-
All you have to do is follow the company to know not to say that.
No.
Are there plans? This was also from Bound. Hey, you got 2 in there.
2 in.
Are there plans to replace the footstep sounds? It sounds the same almost everywhere and does not match the ground and floor off.
I wear the same
Good
shoes.
question. Yes, absolutely. We're going to replace as much Foley as I see fit. I wanted to have weight, correct resonance, the correct surface, the correct soul, and yes, that is a definite. That's one of the systems, like I said, I'll be looking at.
This issue is compounded by a bug that I happened to fix just the other week
Well done, Graham.
in a development stream where the
Convenient,
materials.
Graham.
Yeah, it's convenient, isn't it?
Convenient.
The materials weren't being picked up correctly from the render mesh, so we are now probing the render mesh correctly. We know what material we're on. That fix will be coming in an upcoming release.
When you're walking on glass and it sounds like you're walking on teddy bears. Mr. Lethal, thank you so much for following over here on Twitch, man. Love the videos. Appreciate you dropping by. Glad you like them.
Okay, there you go. In an upcoming release.
But because I'm here, it'll be coming quite
Soon.
quickly.
Yeah.
So you won't have your feet sounding like you're walking on a piece of cheese.
It's not cheese, it's metal.
It'll be
Metal dense
be-
is
yeah.
everywhere.
Somebody in the chat, Blues Minx says, we talked about all the different alarms for damage states and stuff. They're like, Jared, ask them about self-destruct audio alarms. Dare you?
Do we still do self-destruct?
We did it years ago.
Yeah. I don't think they play anymore. But you got that classic Star Trek thing where you set the self-destruct.
Yeah.
And you just got this ship will self-destruct in. Although we don't make them wait like 5 minutes to self-destruct their ship, so an audio alarm for that is going to be pretty quick. But
it would help.
But yeah,
we should resurrect them. We should, shouldn't we?
Yeah.
We should.
Well, people are paying good money for these ships. Why would they want to blow them up?
Exactly. Why would they want to destroy them?
I mean, it's one of those things. I wouldn't mind. If you do need a voice for that, like that's one of those ones I wouldn't mind to volunteer. Just like if somebody sets it up and you just hear my voice screaming through the noise system. Hopefully, asshole, gonna blow the ship. Run!
Only if it's in a Cockney accent, Jared.
Yeah, do your Cockney accent.
No.
Oh, Miss Poppins! Oh no!
That's my self-destruct voice, and I've now offered it freely to the community. You can set it to voice attack or whatnot, and when you use your self-destruct, you're welcome to play that.
Okay.
Gravity umbrella.
I'll use my one swear. I got to be on the watch for the next few minutes. Viper says, currently the sound of a Polaris or an Idris hovering over the ground is almost silent. Will we see improvements to this aspect of audio as sometimes we walk outside a location and there's just a big hovering Polaris and I didn't even hear it because it was almost silent?
I mean, this feeds into the engaging with the flybys. The short answer is yes.
Yeah, we were talking about it just this morning again.
Yeah, but we obviously the weight and but I mean, feed more into that question.
Yeah, we need smarter ways to tie into that context.
Yeah.
So you get the whole kind of brown out, white out, hovering experience, but in a way in which it's not paralyzing if loads of people decide to hover around where you are on an outpost or whatever, and it's just completely dominating. So we need to be smart about how we do it. But you absolutely want to hear the weight and presence of that above you.
You need that the thruster VFX too.
Yeah.
Womp womp.
I don't want this all to be about yes we are. Is there one where I can say no?
Bluesmink says, love when I have to force Jared to ask the question that needs to be asked. You force me nothing. I do what I want. There we go. You want to say something? No? Yeah. Should I ever ask another Bluesminks question ever again?
Nope. There you go.
Done.
A well-balanced interview.
Great community engagement, Simon.
I can't ever ask a question. Jared will never say my name on stream. What's wrong with your name? Bindi Rover? Oh.
Jared.
Well, you said it.
You fell.
Jared.
For it. Intentionally.
I wish that was a bit. I actually did fall for it.
Did you?
Cut him off. Cut this guy off. He's been doing this for like 10 years. How did you fall for that, Jared?
I wish that was a bit.
Well, you've used your one swear now.
I call him Binder over because it's very easy. In chat too, over here. You ain't gonna get me with that one.
Jared.
Look at him, he's boiling.
Achilles
A nice little moment.
says, will music work for groups eventually? Like traveling the Pyrogate, it's not only the pirate that hears the music.
Yeah, absolutely. So unfortunately, we were quite rushed on the jump point music design for that. Jump points was
Those are the kinds of statements to remember.
The whole thing. Ideally, the music experience should be for the ship and all the occupants inside that ship because you're all experiencing that together. But I think at the time we had to tie it to are you flying the ship?
I think a lot of the logic is associated with the ship pilot, and then like anyone who is a passenger is both actually a passenger and metaphorically as well in this sort of sense. And I think we just need to be able to figure out how to hook them into that.
Yeah, we've got future improvements planned. They'll come in a release soon.
See, now you can tell he's been with CIG for a while.
We can probably fit 2 or 3 more in. Sheep Just Got Real says, are there any interesting stories behind the creation of some of the sound effects used in the verse?
I've got one.
Yeah, you got
Yeah. So, because I've been here for so long, I've been very fortunate to have.
It's been 84 years.
I've had 2 beautiful children. Well, not me, my wife has. But I took the heartbeat of their pregnancy scans, and I put my eldest son on one of the hospital monitors in one of the hospitals. Where is that? I'm not sure which location it's in. And then the younger baby, their heart beat is on one of the other ones. So they live in the game, which is pretty cool.
That is very cool.
I like he said, I have 2 beautiful children. Oh, well, no, my wife does. You don't.
No, she gave birth to them. I didn't have them. No, she did all the hard work.
And last.
I feel like Jared just considered the same pun I did there and had some self-control.
I lost it. There it goes. Warhead 64. What can the community do for you to make your job easier?
Tell us what you want. Communicate with me.
No. Don't do what we want. Just make the game.
So much communication.
I don't mind. I want communication. It's a two-way street.
Yeah.
It's a two-way pipeline.
You can tell he's new.
So yeah, communicate with us. Reach out to us. I'm here to. When I've got time, I want to engage with you. I don't want there to be non-engagement. I think engagement for me is a great creative tool. So I want to be, and my ears are no better than your ears. Than what you hear. I want to hear what you're not hearing. I want to hear what you would like to hear. All of these things are valid creative observations. So reach out.
I don't know. Brother must not spend much time on Reddit. Like we're sending like a bunch of messages about farts now.
I mean, we're fundamentally making the game for the community, for the backers. As we're building the team, we're going to be putting more time into being on Spectrum and listening to what they like, what they don't like. But I would ask, please do shout about any audio issues that you come across, because a lot will swing past us and we won't catch them. Even our talented QA team won't catch them because we can't test every context there is. But as soon as there is an issue like a ship stops making a sound, if we've not caught it, please just shout about it and we'll get onto it.
All right, I'll say this much. I do like that he said, let me know what you want, because what we want is just for the audio experience to be smooth, right? That I could say that all day.
Bugs, we're not deliberately planting bugs. Bugs are an inevitability of development. We're in alpha. It's a deep game. I mean, we will fix things all the time. We're there to fix the bugs and make things better. We're not making you trip up deliberately, but yeah, obviously, like Phil says, reach out. But we have, a dedicated QA. We've got a department, searching all the time to fix this stuff, and we're doing it.
Chat is asking how do they reach out. So obviously,
What's
Spectrum, post on Spectrum, the Ask a Dev threads, subforums. But I'm going to encourage you, because Simon doesn't know what he's getting into. This his first show here. I'm going to encourage you to send mailed letters to Simon Gershon, care of Cloud Imperium Games, 6 Goods Yard Street, Manchester, United Kingdom, M3
3BG.
M3 3BG. Send your letters. I will ensure that they get to his desk, and the next time he's on this show, I want to see a mail.
You actually have to bring your sack.
Fill Simon's sack.
I've already got a sack
Mail.
of sound. I need a sack of mail. Don't do joined up writing. Have difficulty reading nowadays.
Help me fill Simon's sack with mail.
Yeah, within reason.
You think Simon will
within reason.
I will.
It's too late. He said within reason. It's too late. We are not reasonable people, my friend.
Sorry.
Okay, I'll take that back. We just won a good game.
But give me a little bit of space. I do need to develop a game here as well, by the way.
Well, that's the beauty of the physical mail. You can open it.
Did my Birmingham accent slip out?
You can take it home.
Yeah.
Read it on the train. Whatever.
Yeah.
Can't develop for all these letters.
Yeah, all these letters that the fans like. Right.
I'm gonna ask.
That's not the end.
That's the end. That's
the
it.
end.
Congratulations. You survived your first SCO.
Oh, it's fun.
I told you, Bill. I've never lost a developer yet. That's not exactly true. but overall, my track record's all right as far as people going back. Usually they yell at me, not the people who are in those chairs. I'm gonna do one more thing though. I'm gonna do.
wee woo sounds. We got ships. We got like Terrapin medics. We got Cutlass Blues. We got the Apollos coming before the end of the year.
Jared.
Wee woo sounds.
Sirens. Oh, what? Get some siren sounds.
Sirens, yeah.
Be able to.
Shall we pop one in somewhere? Just for you. When's your birthday?
What's your address?
I won't tell you where I put it.
Yeah, but it just you know it's always I'm you know we're trying to get flashing lights and everything on the police vehicles and the medical vehicles and whatever. But flashing lights only take us.
All right.
Only take us.
A star siren.
Yeah.
Star siren.
That'd be cool.
For Jared.
Tie into VoIP and get like a megaphone on the front of your ship.
Are we going to commit
Star
to this?
woo.
Yeah, why not?
Yes,
do it.
we will. And it'll come into a patch quite soon.
Quite soon.
Soon, yeah.
There are days I love my job.
Smile of a happy person.
All right, folks. That's it. Thank you for watching Star Citizen Live. Don't forget that Ship Showdown is coming up. When does it start? 29th of July. It's your chance to do a bunch of like arts and crafts things. Sometimes people sing songs. That a song about, what was it, the Pisces? It was a Pisces song a couple years ago. They made everybody listen to that in the office pretty frequently when that happened. So if you don't have to do that one, but you can do the other stuff. You're welcome to do the other stuff. But it's your chance to vote for which ships are most popular, and then we do a big Sweet 16, a Final 8, or something like that, and then you can vote, and then they get cool paints, and the ships come back for promotion stuff and everything. It's pretty cool. It's one of the more fun things where the agency is entirely in the hands of the community. So keep an eye out for that. There'll be a post with all the rules and stuff like that when they do that stuff. So for Star Citizen Live, I'm Jared. That's been Simon. That's been Graham. That's been Phil. Thank you so much for taking the time
Thanks for having us.
for being here.
Thank you.
And yeah, we'll see you next time on Star Citizen Live.
Around the verse.
No, we don't.
Around the verse.
On around the verse.
Maybe bring it back then, huh?
Inside the round the verse.
Inside the around the
verse.
No. No.
Thank you, Jared.
Man, I hope we could get another around the verse. Those were good times. So that's an update from the audio team. Honestly, I think there were some interesting bits in there. Stuff that I'm definitely going to cover at some point, somehow. Actually, I'm working on a video right now that I think there were a couple quotes in this episode that I'm going to use. But it's pretty clear from what they're saying that Star Citizen does not have the resources to do or fix the things that they need to when they need to. Like, they got rushed on the 4.0 editions. Even after those have been put in, they have changes they want to do, but they haven't been able to do them yet. It definitely gives Star Citizen is trying while Squadron 42 is actually doing, which is, the unfortunate realistic reality that we've known about. But I think a lot of people still actually don't know that. That's why I'm making a video about it. Ubdi, good to see you in chat, dude. I saw you pop on in here. How's it been? Thanks for the shout out. Over to your boy, Mr. Ubdi. I'm also like, please don't release the Apollo without a medical rework. Please don't release the Apollo without a medical rework. Please don't release the Apollo without medical work. I mean, we're drones. If we get the Apollo... If we get the Apollo Medivac in this game without the ability to Medivac... Look, they said... I still can't find the statement. It's so freaking hard to find. But I'm pretty sure it was Elwin Batchelor Jr. who said in an Inside Star Citizen or Calling All Devs or something that they don't want to put ships in without their primary gameplay anymore. And I know technically the Apollo has medical gameplay in the game, but do we really want to see a ship that depends on drones be released to the game without the drones working? Do you really want to go through that again? Do we want to... Oh man, I hope they don't do it. I hope in the monthly report next week, they're like, that's not even going to be next week, is it? When is this month end? No, it'll be the following week, in 2 weeks. I hope in that monthly report in 2 weeks, they're like, Drone work has been completed for the PU and will be coming in the next few quarters. And then we can be like, oh, that's why the Apollo's getting worked on. Ah, man, I hope. No medical advances sounds exactly like CIG adding a new ship. Yeah. Yeah, I don't know about that. We want the Apollo more than any other ship and do not want to see it without changes to medical system or item recovery. Oh, I don't think... Well, I don't know. They've been working on item recovery. I don't know if that's a guarantee as much. Carrick no drones, though Reclaimer no drones. But both of those ships released before the statement that I'm talking about from Elwin Batchelor Jr. Or whoever it was that said it. It might not have been him. Might have been somebody else. But yeah. People will point out like the Reclaimer, the Carrick, the other whatever old ships. I think it was around like 2020, 2021 when they said that. What statement? Just that they didn't want to put stuff in that didn't have their primary gameplay. I gotta find it. I gotta find that statement. It's hard to find because I don't know what the exact words were. I don't know what program it was on. I think it was on Calling All Devs. I don't know what year it is. But if anybody does come across that, please let me know. It's a very valuable statement. I think a lot of people would want to hear that straight from their mouths rather than, whoop, some YouTube shills. You just want to use your RMC and construction materials for repairing stuffs? Yeah, I just want to see Maelstrom come in so that they can actually, you can salvage specific materials from specific places. All right, I hear there is a message from CIG regarding some newsy news. So I hope you guys enjoyed this Q&A. I don't really have too much to say beyond this. I will cover some of this in the Space Games Weekly video tomorrow or next week. But besides that, I think this was a solid look into how audio is supposed to work, but most people are of the mindset that like, okay, I'll believe it when I see it. So we'll see if they start getting stuff in soon. Haven't they said that for years? Yeah, like 4 years. Yet to discuss even what Medical 2.0 would look like, so I don't think CIG considers a more advanced medical important right now. What did they say back in the day? Is everything that they've already said what they've put in? This is 3.2, getting healed in the future. Okay, they've got the 3-tier injuries. We know about that. Mission types. Medical delivery, deliver medical supplies, organs, samples, and more. Naturally, this can be done with any ship, but a medical ship has the facilities to keep organic and medical cargo maintained for longer. Recovery, find injured people and heal them or identified bodies. We know that one. Rescue, go to a space station or heavily damaged ship to rescue people in an emergency situation. These aren't really gameplay things. Respawning, differences between medical ships. With the newly announced Medical Apollo is the reason for this new design post. It is not the first medical ship allowed. 2 other ships we've made for this career are not forgotten. In fact, all 3 provide distinct roles. The Apollo is a medium-sized clinic for uncharted regions. The Endeavor can be a complete hospital. And the Cutlass Red is a well-equipped ambulance. Yeah, they didn't really give anything else in terms of medical. I think the only other thing we know besides this is just that, like, respawning will require some kind of materials. So, like, maybe they would include the materials that function with medical beds, but not really much here to go off besides the injury stuff. Check out Simon's IMDb. Well, I saw you guys mention that he was on Alien vs. Predator 10,000 BC. Some pretty solid movies. At least, I mean, high-profile movies. Seems a bit flaky, but that could be a good sign given that I know what I know about sound people. With all the recent NPCs dropping dead in the PU, we need a body removal service ASAP. Also, ship removal. New game loop, harvesting organ material from bodies. to feed your med bed. Just shove the whole body into the med bed. Yeah, it does sound kind of like Dune. All right, so I think there was a message of the day, but I can never find these, where the heck these go. Let me see. Message of the day. I have way too many bookmarks. All right, here's the testing chat. Oh, I have to log in? Okay, hold on. Yo, I recently got logged out of everything on my computer. Now I have to re-authenticate literally everything that I ever sign into. It's incredibly annoying. Hey, Billy. Billy, 2 names. Thanks for the 100 bits, dude. Thanks for supporting on Twitch. Twitch, you guys went off today. I don't know what we've done to deserve this, but you just made the whole dang week. Thank you so much. Team Perp. All right. How do you authenticate on the RSI website? I hate this. I hate it when they do this. Robert Space Industries 085 467. One 77060. Don't authenticate as me. I'm kidding, those aren't even the codes. Okay. All right. CIG has put out a message about some potential hotfixes to 4.2.1 in the event ongoing, but also about 4.3 starting to enter testing, which is an interesting sign. I don't necessarily think that means it's coming in August, but if it's being tested now, we will be talking a lot about this over the next few weeks. I'm betting this is a September release, not gonna lie. Here is the message that they've said so far. Goals for today and the upcoming week. Today, we are focusing on further hot fixes for live with possible top client crash fixes coming today, as well as looking into service changes for missions not appearing. This has been a big complaint from people. Sir, the missions not appearing is actually extremely annoying, I think. Freight elevators, missions not appearing are like the 2 big things that are messing people up. The Armistice Zone stuff is, another conversation. Our next goal is to have 4.3.0 with Evocati early next week. Now, that should be interesting to see. 4.2.1 has been updated with the latest client hotfix patch. That was as of Wednesday. But we can jump into the roadmap real quick for Star Citizen and see what we might see from 4.3 if it's hitting the Evocati already next week. So here we have 4.3. I'm going to collapse everything else and expand. First up in 4.3 is the AI FPS turrets. Anti-personnel turrets for players to avoid or destroy, providing additional PvE challenges. I'm really hoping these get applied to more places than just the UGFs quickly. This could be huge in helping to stop people from acting like complete bags in everywhere you go. We got light armor from the sniper. We got Wicklow having something here. We got new hairstyles. Those definitely need Evocati testing. A new medium utility armor. We saw this one delayed from 4.2.1, I believe it was, about a month and a half ago. So we'll see when it comes in. It still says 4.3.x here. You might not see it with the first one. Ladder improvements will probably be in Evocati as they were in the PTU for 4.2.1. Dynamic snow, I could also see being a thing showing up on Microtech. I'm not sure we'll see these cooperative zones and abandoned underground facilities for the first one, but they do actually, think of it, when they drop in Evocati on these new patches, they do drop in the new locations with it because they need the most testing. So next week, we might finally see for the first time underground facilities in Star Citizen. And I've already put out a video about that on Space Tomato 2 here. You can check that out. I do think that these are possibly the first signs that distribution centers might get their underground sections someday. I also think this is a sign that maybe we get instance locations to test out what will eventually be the municipal works in ArcCorp. That being said, they do say that they're like contested zones. There's a possibility that they also might be formatted like contested zones and not actually instanced. We'll have to see. We also have mission pickup on location. Not a huge deal, but I think this is important tech that's going to help with a lot of arriving at a place and getting some kind of a local introductory mission or even tutorials. This will help with tutorials being launched easily for players when they show up at a location and don't know what the heck to do, right? This can guide you through sort of what does a new location want from you. That would be the objectives of a new mission. Wicklow special ships are coming through. Still haven't had a chance to do a really deep dive on these and talk about where I think they could make some fixes to this system, but I still think they could. They made them deterministic, which is great, but they're also limiting ships to just Wicklow, which I think is a little, I don't know about that. And then finally, we have the sniper rifle from Volt. This is one that we've been covering for a long time. I can show you guys footage of this gun from all the way back in 2021. Where they had first introduced some concepts of what they want the Volt guns to look like. And you can see here, not only was there the SMG we already know about and the sniper that we're about to see, but they also had an LMG that they were talking about and looking into. And I think the LMG actually looks pretty cool. Like I could see this thing hitting hard. I don't know if it would, I guess it might fire kind of like the Parallax rifle, but with heavier shots. I don't know. It looks pretty cool. Sniper looks good too. I like the sniper. It sounds like it's got an interesting mechanic where you can charge it up and leave it charged while you're carrying it around, but it makes an audible noise. Solid trade-offs. So that's the stuff that they already have listed for 4.3. There will probably be more stuff coming in. We'll see some little things in the Evocati patch as well. But these are really the big what if, the big interest, the big thing that everybody's going to be looking at, and probably the main focus of next week whenever that does happen. So expect to hear more news about these underground facilities soon, but there's your quick update. 4.3 hopefully in Evocati next week. 4.2.1 getting some hot fixes to hopefully help with more mission spawning. Both of these are good things. Hopefully both of them don't break things further. Thanks for dropping in with the news. Think there'll be something newly created or reused assets? I think they'll be new. I think these underground facilities are somewhat based on what we saw years ago. They were working on for the underground facilities and the distribution centers. There are a lot of gatherables in game. Why does Wicklow only mostly irradiated stuff? Because irradiated stuff is new. It's annoying. It's annoying. I get why they do it, but I don't think they need to. I think they can balance everything out and they'll get plenty of people still trying to collect all this stuff for Wicklow. I don't think that Wicklow's a one-off, though. I think he's just one of many different types of... Well, he's one of, I think, the group of mission givers that will act as sort of traders. I think we'll have mission givers that give missions and contracts. We'll have mission givers that are just kind of representatives of a faction that assign you stuff, like Gilly. And then we will also have mission givers like Wicklow, who is kind of like a trader in DayZ. You just go to him with the stuff you have and see what the heck he can give you for it. Tunnel network maybe one day. Let me show you.
The heart
so this is what we had. Whoa, that's not the right video. There we go. This is what we knew of underground facilities back when they were first showing them. There had plenty of tunnels in them, large spaces, small spaces, spaces for exploration, spaces for purchasing or turning in stuff. Obviously, this huge elevator would take you down. This is actually an interesting one. I wonder how we'll enter the underground facilities if they're abandoned. Just kind of a stairwell real quick. Or are they actually going to make it super deep like they were showing in these concepts back in the day?
As well.
I think Wick is how they're testing the guild's mission givers. I think Wickelow's mainly a trader kind of mission giver. I mean, I'm sure the work on him will go into that kind of stuff, yeah. If it's raining, will the new weapon shock the folks around it, or you shoot the wet ground? Oh, Vassin, asking the good questions, dude. I hope so. What does 1.0 look like for us experienced versus new players? Especially we get all of our ships, weapons, gear. Noobs start with the basics. Yeah, basically. Noobs start with the basics. You heard someone refer to Wicklow as crafting tier 0. I think they said that at one point earlier on in the year. I think that's a kind of a stretch to call it that. It's crafting in the sense that you turn things in and you get something from it, but it's not really like crafting gameplay. Like crafting tier minus 0.5 almost, I want to say. There's a lot more that goes into it, you know? 4.3 is going to be the CitizenCon patch. Probably. Coming in September. Probably 4.3.1 will be the CitizenCon patch. Or maybe they won't do one in October. Maybe they will, maybe that's the month they skip, and then we get another one in November or December. Hopefully to stabilize the year, but God only knows. I mean, by the end of the year of playability, I'm not really thinking it's going to reach that level of playability people are expecting. Gaming related question, where do I find ammo for that new laser pistol? Is it not in the stores? I thought it would be in the stores by now. EPTU engineering for CitizenCon. Well, that'd be late, but maybe. I didn't know we didn't have the pistol ammo. I guess maybe you just pick it up wherever you loot the pistol from. It's the year playability focus started, not finished. I mean, regardless, I think that the progress on playability expected this year right now is not looking to be the same momentum that people probably were thinking when they saw that. What level of playability are you expecting? I'm just for things to work, really. I think they've done quite a bit to reach that level, and a lot of it has been going well. I think of like the little things like physics ship collisions working better, but I think playability should also point towards stuff like does the star map work for people? Is quantum traveling working correctly? Is there a decent progression of missions that you can take as a new player? And those things aren't true just yet. Way more playable than last year this time. It is. The pistol is an event reward. Now I can't purchase ammo for. Do I have that right? I don't know. I don't know if the ammo is nowhere to be found or what. Am I tracking Spaceborne 2 at all? Not yet. Not as much. I saw it. I looked into it. Not as much. Let's look at the letter real quick. Let's see. Letter from the chairman. What did they say about playability? The pistol ammo is in the armor stores on space stations. All right. Kelto has it in Orison, and space stations have it. Okay. Just got to look around for it a little bit. So when they talked about playability, they said, to achieve our goals, we are making a fundamental change, decoupling feature development from content creation and general fixes. This means new features will no longer hold up content delivery or risk destabilizing the live environment. This approach will leverage the tech preview channel, which was reserved for major new pieces of technology like the replication layer and server meshing, but will now extend to gameplay feature testing too. I think that's a big part of playability. Although they can make the game playable without using the ePTU, it hasn't really proven to work like that because like we haven't seen features be developed in isolation just yet. This means we'll have more stability and predictability in our ongoing game releases, as the main development stream will not be disrupted by untested features still being worked on. Instead, the team can focus on improving stability, performance, and quality of life. Alongside this playability initiative, we are also tying together our content releases so that they feel more connected to the world. This means each new content drop will be more focused and drive an overall narrative forward, similar to our Overdrive and Save Stanton events. This content will then unlock new and powerful rewards, including ships, armors, and weapons that you can play to earn. We are seeing that now. We're taking this approach to deliver more things to do more often than we have in the past, where we have frequently been held hostage by tech or feature work that has taken longer than anticipated. Our objective is to make Star Citizen more stable, more performant, and more fun this coming year. It's getting there. The thing is, like, it's gone up and then it's gone down. If you go look at 10#42's channel, he benchmarks the frame rates of the game, and he saw 4.1 reach the highest average frame rate that the game's ever seen. But since then, it's been degrading again. So while I do think they've been making some strides in playability, there are places that do start to regress at some points. And while they might get back up to that by the end of the year, that sort of upwards, downwards trajectory of things like that, I think makes people, myself included, a little bit more nervous about just how playable things will be by the end of the year. Because it's not linear. It's not even a straight path. It's kind of, who knows where it goes from here. But yeah, I would definitely agree that the game is much more playable than it's been. Maybe it's just dev lag and they're about to open the playability floodgates. The floodgates, dude. They got to get Vulkan to work. I think Ali Brown said that they have some Vulkan updates they want to get in soon. How dare CIG not within 7 months fix everything? You have a personal list of necessities. I mean, I think the star map needs to work. I don't think there are too many things that systemically make the game harder to play, but the star map and the quantum travel experience are... That and the interaction system are three that you kind of just keep running into when you're playing. I don't think I don't think this year's last patch is going to be smaller than their other ones. It seems like they're staying pretty consistent because they usually go up and down with all their patches, but this year they've all seemed to focus on at least some kind of content. So they haven't pulled from the main branch in over a year for Vulkan, and that's been done for quite a while. Yeah, was that it? Inventory really needs focus. Yeah, inventory is not going to happen anytime soon, unfortunately, if they're just showing us the concept art for it. That's something that I can only hope is going to be a next year kind of addition. Thing needs focus. Which bugs has 2 quarters of bug fixing fixed? Oh man, I don't even really... There's a lot, dude. I will point you towards the patch notes, because I ain't scrolling through all of this. Oh, it's an ad. I hate it when they get me with the ad. But like, you can click on all these and they say the list of patches, patch notes and stuff, like the bug fixes that came with it. Some of them are significant, some of them not so much. Origin 300 series getting fixed. Idris K laser, Asperia Prowler should no longer be missing its shield generators. Executive Hangar Death Zone should no longer remain present after the comp boards have been inserted. Players now correctly are able to tractor beam cargo off the Drake Caterpillar cargo grid. Players and AI should no longer be able to shoot through glass windows. The Klesher Prison escape route fan should now properly stop spinning after entering the code. Vehicle doors, ramps, and elevators should now be able to be closed after a breach and a repair. So, like, you can just go to any of the patch notes and they have these huge lists. Some of these things re-break at some point, but at the very least, I think there are some things in here that everybody is appreciative of them fixing. Lots of playability, or lots of bug fix related stuff. Caterpillar is still bugged. Well, I guess that needs to be reopened then. Sometimes ship weapons don't fire. Player advanced HUD should no longer randomly go away. Power allocation and power pip should no longer get set to 0 and on and off regularly or randomly. 135C geometry blocking SCU crates from the cargo bay. Yeah, man. You could just keep going. Then they list the ones that are still known issues down here. Morph video summed it up pretty good. Yeah, I would say so. They're making progress, but there's still plenty of things that could be done. And not even count how many times you've seen the patch note about the Klesher fan. It not stopping. Anything noticeable in game? Yeah, I mean, the ship collision physics thing was huge. I think that was a pretty useful addition that helped people out. What else was there? I can't name anything else besides that. Is the whole C working properly now? I don't even know. I don't use the whole C. Yeah, dude. If you want to know what, like, noticeable stuff, you're gonna have to look through this, but a lot of them are smaller things. They fix some client crashes and server crashes and stuff. Honestly, it's hard to know whether that is noticeable or not. What ship collisions thing? You got a vid about that? I think I covered it on Space Tomato 2, but I don't think I have not done any, like, main channel videos on that. The game not crashing every 20 minutes for you was a big one. Yeah, the less crashes has been nice. Let's see. The ship collision was here. Updating ship collision damage handling with full collision data passed down by physics. This means that mass and speed is now calculated in the collision to make the damage more realistic. Basically, you can't blow up an 890 jump with an Aurora. But yeah, most of the bug fixes don't get put on here. Bloody Reminder, what's up? How's it going? Keep up the epic updates and hella fun collabs. The collabs, man. Oi. So the game isn't dead. You saw some creators say the game is done. Dude, the game is absolutely dead. It's not. No, it's done. We're out of here. Sign off. Break your computer. Walk away. No longer exists. We're done for. No, it's not dead. Although I do have a podcast coming up that asks the same question, mainly because it's almost like a tradition to ask that every summer. And I definitely say in the podcast that it is a tongue-in-cheek joke. But I'm sure many of people are going to get on that podcast comment section and be like, oh, you fucking hater. You're going to kill the game. You're wrong. Meanwhile, the whole podcast is really just us talking about the things that have been going on this year and how they can be fixed going forward, and the little issues that are popping up that make things like this latest event not run very well. But no, the game isn't dead. Are you supposed to kill cap ships in your starter? Oh, that's, you just sit there and shoot them long enough and they'll blow up, right? Yeah, I think there's still some stuff they can do for playability. Ladder improvements is like a good one. That's a good, I think, example of a big playability addition. But I do think that like the interaction system and just the UI engagement still needs some work, man. There are a lot of Redditors who hate this game even though they have never played it. That's not even a Reddit thing. That's not even a Star Citizen thing. Trying to discuss any video game really these days, or anything these days, you'll get a whole flock of people who don't want to hear good things about it, even though they have nothing to do with it. That's what it's all about, right? Anger. That anger out on the internet. Feels good. And you get Benoit on for an interview. Brother, I wish. Unfortunately, CIG is not really... they don't seem too forthcoming with letting employees come on to interviews anymore. We got Yogi on last year, and I think it was a great talk. I think it, you know, despite some of the things that did come out of it, it provides a lot better look into the, like, development process of these people who are working on the game. But I don't think CIG was particularly happy with how that all played out. And since then, they've been pretty much just denying our requests. Like, I had a interview lined up with Elliot a couple weeks ago. That was a no-go. I want to talk to Sylvan about the graphical stuff. No-go. So Benoit? I don't think that's gonna happen. That'd be cool though. That would be sick. There's quite a few things I would love to ask him. Time to pack it up and switch to covering Minecraft for 12-year-olds. I would feel very uncomfortable if I knew 12-year-olds were watching my content. I appreciate that I cover a game that, for the most part, is just grown-ass adults. Even if some of those adults do act like 12-year-olds. You know, it's, hey, just settle down on the keyboard. That's not directed by any of you. I mean, if you take offense to that, that might say more about you. It's always funny when you say something like that on the internet and you're like, oh, I really don't like the fans of this certain thing that act this certain way and say these kinds of nonsensical things to people who have nothing to do with it. And then somebody always pops out of the woodwork and they're like, hey, stop talking about me like that. And you're like, well, I mean, you just kind of outed yourself. Restream, what is wrong with you? Would love to get Ali Brown on to talk graphics. Dude seems like I would need a guide to ask what questions from him. Suspect it's because of how Reddit has been the last couple of months. How has Reddit been the last couple of months? Really wish the contracts promoted group play more. I agree with you, Shaman. That would be super helpful. Pick up on the upcoming Benoit SCL? Yup. I'm looking forward to that. Galather. Gotcha. If 12-year-olds are watching, it's really hard to talk about things like existential dread and the end of humanity. Unfortunately, we got the easier way out. We won't be here as long. You might have a better chance since leadership usually has training in public relations and talking to outside entities, unlike your regular employees like Yogi. They just don't want, I just don't think they want people going on podcasts anymore. What they told us after Yogi, so I was going to get somebody else to come on to talk about Planetech. Actually, maybe I shouldn't say these things. This is kind of private communications, I guess. Isn't Reddit always Reddit? Reddit is Reddit, dude. Reddit's gonna red it. Have you taken a look at the Redeemer recently, considering purchasing? Wanted to know your thoughts on it. Worth it or no? I don't have much to say about the Redeemer. I think it's a pretty cool ship for like... We used to have this mission in the game that would called mining claim jumpers. And you would fly into an area where a bunch of prospectors had taken over somebody else's mining claim. And then you just fight off like 15 prospectors. I think that was a great kind of mission for a Redeemer. And if we get more stuff like that, it's fun to take a couple friends out in there. I don't think it's that great of a solo ship. And I don't think there's too much use for it now. But I'll tell you what, if you really want to get a good answer on the Redeemer and whether it's worth getting, look up the Astro Historian or the Astro Pub and just find any time that he's live and go into his chat and let him know, hey, I heard the Redeemer's your favorite ship. Do you suggest getting it in the game right now? And he should. I think he loves to talk about it, so I think he'll have some good stuff to say. I personally, I don't have any specific feelings about it. But yeah, I think the Paladin might actually be better than the Redeemer for the kind of stuff I'm talking about. Somebody clip this and send it to Paul. With love. Used to talk about that when you were 12. Of course, it was early 90s with grunge music movement. We were all filled with a little existential dread and overwhelming stress when we're 12 years old. Walking down the street, hands in our pockets, bothered by our work buddies, thinking about our schedule over the next week. I get it. Crazy to you how CIG amplifies certain streamers that do nothing but rage bait for a living. Hey man, I mean, eyeballs are eyeballs. CIG, from what I can tell, loves Twitch viewership. They've always kind of favored Twitch live viewership for some reason whenever they want to like market or communicate. And they've gotten a little bit better over the last few years, but I think they like to get Twitch viewers, I guess. Definitely look into it, considering the Pally 2 thanks. Appreciate it. Yeah. Dude, the Paladin's sick. If the Paladin came out, I would definitely suggest that over the Redeemer. That's a cool ship. Stop talking about my schedule next week. It's the weekend, so you don't want to hear anything about it. Shifty, is your schedule next week finishing up the entirety of this event that's currently going on? I'm amazed how much you've been able to get finished with it. You are a streamer and CIG refuses to amplify you because of all the bowel movement jokes you do. Am I right, Anons? You were just talking about farts earlier today, man. I feel you. Downside is that the streamers influence their community to behave a certain way. The culture is toxic. Well, I mean, I don't... Man. You hope to be done by Sunday. Dang. Best of luck to you, Shifty. That's a hefty job. 4.3 next week. We'll see, dude. We'll see. We looked into it, and maybe they'll get it out. Hopefully we get to see what's going up on the 4.3 Evocati. Dude, Hustle, I love the freaking culture of our chat. Honestly, you guys, this community, you deserve a round of applause. And a little grunt birthday party. Let's go. Woo! That's this community. It's good times. We get into little arguments here and there. We disagreements. I'm sure plenty of you don't agree with everything that I say. I probably don't agree with everything you would say. But the nice part about real world interactions is you can do that. It's different on the internet. Because you have to be mad at other people on the internet. But if you just consider it almost like the real world, then we can have like disagreements and nuance and discussion. It goes pretty good. I appreciate that. You guys are a good time. Thank you for being like that. Wish Larian made a sci-fi RPG. As long as it's third or first person. I don't like the isometric view. It's rough on the eyes. Or gives me what am I gonna call it? It gives me motion sickness. Hmm? Who that? Larian Warhammer 40K. Hey, you know, Owlcat Games makes some great RPGs, right? That's what I've heard. I've never played them. I think I would like to try at least one of them out to see what it's like. But I've heard good things about Owlcat and their CRPGs. So if now they're making an Expanse RPG, I don't think there's another sci-fi IP that would be more excited or get people more excited to see a big RPG coming from, other than like maybe if Star Wars, you know, did something a little more generalized than Outlaws. But I think this game does have a lot of potential to be a really good, well-written RPG in a sci-fi universe, which we just do not get very often. I am super excited for this one. I will be covering it hardcore as we get more and more information on it. And like Chris Hemsworth, I kind of like him. And hopefully we hear something soon. Because yeah, sci-fi RPGs, my bread and butter. Just woke up from a 2-hour sleep out in the yard on the grass. Nice, Shakas. Sounds like it was a good time at the bar then, huh? It's almost going to be 2 more years again. Will Squadron actually release this time? God, I don't know. I don't know, my friend. I hope so. Blood feuds. What kind of game is it? It's an RPG. It is a first-person sci-fi RPG that relies heavily on character and story development. Oh yeah, and they're definitely not shying away from the Mass Effect, the Mass Effect influence, which I like. I'm down for it, man. Mass Effect's a great template. If you can do it with your own spin and you can make it like something great, I'm all here for it. Let me look up the trailer for you guys. Yeah, it's single player.
Zafar, pull up NavTech.
Just a sec. Got it.
Taki. We gonna find out about your Kopang right quick, okay?
Just want to do him justice. Stuck his neck out for us. Least we can do is get him out alive.
We've got big enough guns to make justice, all right?
Oh, Michael. To a man with a hammer, just about everything looks like a nail.
Aim for show. Time to say oh yeah with our hammer.
Missile range in 1 minute.
So my big question here is how much of this game, like, is this going to be, because this is very reminiscent the way that I even mentioned in chat, it's leading up to what feels like the way BioWare transitioned from their CRPGs into their full action adventure RPGs. And I'm wondering, is this going to be kind of like Mass Effect 1 where your spaceship and the travel is more just a means to moving around the game? Or is it something you're actually controlling and getting to try out in this game? I'm not really expecting them to do much with actual ship flight in this game, but I'm curious what they do.
Brace yourselves. We're going for a spin.
Looks like fun.
Zafar, did you get a signal?
After the large haul down this corridor, they shut down this part of the facility. Long time before our arrival. Fine. Let's deal with those guys first.
In your Loda. They never look up.
In yellow order. I do feel like they could have just had a frag grenade there and killed all of them at once.
Zafar, you were right. They shut down this. Wait! Alota! I need backup!
Hold on, I'm coming! I'll cover you. Thanks.
These guys are awful.
I can't see shit from here.
The bird up high shall be thine eyes. What the hell happened here? Hey, buddy.
Uh-oh. He got into the pop rocks. Oh my god, dude. When the music kicks in, that's what gets... I could care less about a cinematic trailer, but man, the music kicks in and I'm like, ooh. So here's some gameplay. Looks third person. Not much.
Glad you're still breathing.
So you can kind of get a little bit from here. Like,
Glad you're still breathing.
you can see like they're using a cover system. So that whole third person cover idea, like it looks very Mass Effect. Over the shoulder shooting, enemies with different types of weapons, environmental damage to some extent. This honestly reminds me of straight up Mass Effect Andromeda, even just this scene. So there's not really too much info about when this is coming or how far in development it is. Still just introductions, really. This only came out about a month ago, this trailer. But we'll keep an eye on it. Like I said, I'm going to be putting anything. If you guys, by the way, there's more people here, so I will say it again. If you guys are interested, I started a new series on my channel. Woo. That is coming out every week called Space Games Weekly. And it's not showing up on the recommendations. But it's right here. It's the last video that came out. And this is where I want to put information about these kinds of games when I do come find out about them. Whether it's the Verse project, which we looked at earlier, Spacecraft we've talked about, Elite Dangerous, obviously Star Citizen, really any space games that are headed our way, and like cool sci-fi games that I like. I want to talk about them on this weekly show. So if you do want to keep up with that kind of stuff, check out the channel, possibly tick the bell, because that does help with actually getting notified when this stuff gets posted. And I'll let you know when we've got some more information about that game. Yeah, I've heard Owlcat's writing is really good. I'm excited for that. I haven't played like a well-renowned large RPG in a while. Baldur's Gate didn't really get me. I like the first or third person. Yeah, even if you're not interested, still starting up a new series. I don't know about Warframe. I haven't really looked into that. Is that still getting a lot of updates? Might check it out. I'm still trying to figure out how much I should include in one of them to make sure they don't drag on for too long. But generally, the format is actually inspired by SkillUp, who is a gaming YouTuber that I really love watching the content of. He does This Week in Video Games, which I think is just fantastic. And I thought, you know, sci-fi gamers could use something like that that's a little more focused. So, to be quite honest, I'm hoping this becomes my main thing over time. I just want to cover space games. Space games be cool. Space games sick as f. I like talking about. But anyways, I'm going to go ahead and let you guys go. I'm going to pass you on to another Star Citizen streamer in-game this time. So you can actually... What? Drops enabled. What? Drops enabled for start? What? Maybe that's just a glitch. That's weird. Yeah, I'm going to send you over to Bognagus. You guys can see some Star Citizen gameplay and not just hear someone talk about it. Warframe's constantly getting update, but you dropped it some years back. It's never really been that interesting to me. I do want to mostly stick to the games I like, so I'm staying consistent. But I also, I want to try and cover what's going on in general. So I will keep that in mind too. I'm going to have to make like a list of games that I need to cover every week. Ralph is great. Have you seen his new website? It's so cool. I'm so freaking proud of him, man. That's like, I hope it goes well for him. I hope it works out. Independent journalism is a huge passion of mine. I love seeing people take something that they love and share it with more folks who might not have been able to catch it and do it in a way that's entertaining and also informative. Static, you like doing more than SC? I will always be here for SC. There's too much space out there to not talk about it all. Alrighty, guys. Sending you over to Bognagus again. Everybody have a fantastic day. Thank you so much for hanging out. I hope you enjoyed this stream. I will see you tomorrow for some org gameplay. We'll be hopping into Star Citizen. Monday, we'll be back to chatting. But next Wednesday, I think we'll check out Verse Project or maybe something else. And try and mix it up a little bit. Thanks again for being here, folks. Twitch, y'all were awesome today in terms of support. YouTube, just as fun chatting with you, Big Red, as always. Have yourselves a wonderful day. Treat yourselves well. Do something you love. Eat some good food that you know you're going to enjoy. Go give someone a hug who loves you. And be the wonderful people you are. See you all tomorrow.